to Tennessee. We had major damage, some major tornadoes happening in those areas. Not quite that sort of environment for us here tonight. So I'm not expecting anything like what we were seeing earlier. Typically in a setup like this, if we did get a warning, it would often be rather brief, very isolated. So that's we got to just take caution in a setup like this and just make sure we have ways to get those alerts just in case we do have a warning. So before you head off to bed, just make sure you have our Fox 6 weather app. You have some fresh batteries in your weather radio just in case there's some random power outages. There's going to be some gusty winds. But that's one thing I noticed. Typically on a severe weather day like this, we have strong gusty winds out of the south. And so far that one component has been lacking, but that may start to change here, of course, once this line approaches. But meteorologist Lauren Linahan, Lauren, you're zooming in on this right there around Skelton Bend and Brownville, and we have got some intense rain. Highway 171 here. If you're along Highway 171, if you live anywhere north of County High, you're about to deal with some heavy rain, possibly some nickel-sized hailstones with this, and some very strong wind gusts. Lauren, we'll go to you. You still have your mic there.
Yeah.
I know you and I were noticing there's some areas where a little bit of rotation showing up there.
Yeah, Wes, as we look at our rotation tracker here, which is looking at the wind shear within inside of this storm, and if we could be seeing that possibility for any type of rotation, we are watching a little kink along the line that is moving through Tuscaloosa County that we want to draw your attention to. We're seeing the red popping up here on our Barron system. This is north of Samantha and south and east of Concord. And this is actually popping up right on Northside Road where we're watching this little kink in the line. It is approaching Highway 43 as this particular batch moves off to the north and east. Wes was mentioning this is the one storm really that's moving through right now that is catching our attention because it just has these little kinks along it. It's almost like it wants to rotate and spin up. That hasn't happened yet, fortunately, but this is going to be the one to watch. So if you're in Tuscaloosa County right now, I want to go ahead and put some first alert times here on the map, just so you have a better idea of, hey, if this storm were to produce a warning, would I be in the path of it? So this is what we're watching here, that little kink within the line showing that it's getting this inflow of this warm, humid air that can be ingested inside of these storms and help to fuel it. So this is moving off to the north and east at about 50 miles per hour. First alert time for Cove Park arriving around 11:09, Montgomery Lakes 11:08, Hagler Mill Estates and Binion Heights around 11:11, and then getting closer to Samantha at 11:13, Skeleton Bend Estates at 11:16. So this is going to be the one to watch, Wes. And it's not just that one little kink along the line. Really, as you were mentioning, we've got very heavy rainfall, the possibility of some hail, and with it bowing out like that, I wouldn't be surprised, Wes, if we see the possibility for some damaging wind gusts along this line.
Yeah, and Lauren, on links 2 over there, we may want to try to go ahead and get that Pier 43 camera pulled up. Also Reform, we have some Sky Vision cameras. Let's get those lined up. Let's go back to our source here. I want to show you, this is from earlier. This is Haleyville. And I believe Shannon Lawler sharing some of this video, but he reported this was in Haleyville when the gusty winds moved through, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts there across parts of Marion and Winston County, and there was some pea-sized hail with those storms that moved through earlier. Now, Haleyville, the threat has ended for us. These areas to the north, if you're in Winfield, if you're in Guin, that threat has ended. At this time, what we're focused in on is Tuscaloosa. Watching this area closely, this is one of the stronger storms of the day. It's below severe levels at this time. I know we're under a tornado watch, so that's what we're doing here. We're watching it, keeping an eye on it as it moves through. I just wanted to let you know, for folks here that may be waking up to some nasty weather, because this is certainly the kind of weather that will get your attention anywhere from Coker, Binion Heights, back to Concord there in southern Fayette County. Some intense lightning, some very heavy rainfall happening there at this late hour tonight. But we are certainly going to stick around here for a minute, just do some radar updates until this weekends. But one of the reasons why we jumped on television is we was looking at some of our radar data here. You know, we do a lot of real-time analysis with the system, and I started seeing a little bit of rotation that was showing up across western Tuscaloosa County, and I wanted to get out ahead of this just in case we did see this try to form a tornado. But that's the thing tonight. You get these quick fire warnings, these storms. All of a sudden you see rotation start to happen there. You start to see some spin, so you really have to be on the radar closely. Look at this. Meteorologist Lauren Linahan bringing in, this is the first alert sky vision at Pier 43. Now this is not, I mentioned County High earlier. This isn't far from there, and you can see in North Tuscaloosa County, just north of the city and just north of downtown Northport, we're looking at 65. But look at the rain is just, it is really coming down there, and this is some of the heaviest rain we've seen. I mean, here in Tuscaloosa, I mean, it's been tough to get a drop of rain. Same for us here in Jefferson County, and now across parts of St. Clair County. So if there's one good thing tonight, we're finally getting some much needed rainfall. Look to the south. Look at this. Look in Tuscaloosa right now, 65. But hey, it's coming. It's coming. That heavier rain's about to move in. So be ready here. You're about to get some lightning, some heavy rain, possibly some pea-sized hail. Meteorologist Lauren Linahan bringing in our first alert sky vision there in Tuscaloosa County. But that heavy rain, the storms are lining up along Highway 43 now. Approaching, you can see that's right around Pier 43 there. The leading edge has reached parts of Lake Tuscaloosa, but now pushing in towards Spillway and back in towards Watermelon Road as well. If you are tuning in right now to this, I'm zoomed in over Tuscaloosa County for a non-severe storm at this time, but you can obviously see there's a lot of lightning in here, close to 100 strikes just over the past 15 to 20 minutes with this one storm that's moving through, but it's non-severe. It's got a lot of lightning, some heavy rain, and maybe even some small hail. And one thing is it looks like it has weakened a little bit over the past few scans. Lauren, are you seeing the same?
Yeah, Wes, that is what it appears to be doing. Not seeing that more distinct rotation. That's the kind of setup we're in right now. You can get some brief rotation and then it kind of broadens out again. So that's what we're going to be watching for closely here. And earlier, really over the past couple of hours before we were kind of waiting for this low-end tornado threat to manifest, we were seeing a lot of these storms. The main thing they were doing as they were crossing the line from Mississippi into Alabama is they were producing some hail. So that's something we're watching as well. If you all have any reports of hail in your area, maybe some came through earlier today or is coming through with the storms tonight, once it safely gets out of your area, if you have any hail, you can submit that through the First Alert weather app. We'd love to get your report since you're our eyes out there. We just want to make sure you're safe, of course, as well. And this is nighttime, so you got to play it safe with these storms coming through. But as we look here at our Barron product, the triple threat, which gives us an idea, okay, could the storm be producing some strong winds, or could it have some wind shear that could eventually lead to a tornado, or could we see some hail? Well, this is estimating that possibly this storm that is moving through western Tuscaloosa County, now crossing over Highway 171 south and east of Brownville, possibly could be producing about an inch size hail. And so that would be considered large hail, but we'll see, because you know the radar is a little farther away, so it's shooting up into the atmosphere. So by the time it gets to the ground, it may not quite be large anymore. It could be pea size, but that's kind of one of the threats we're going to be analyzing here as we go into the evening. And we're also watching, if we look in East Alabama, we're beginning to see some stronger thunderstorms as well that are moving in. This particular storm that is moving across Raglan up towards Hood and Steele and headed towards the Coosa River and Gadsden. This has about 80 lightning strikes on it, and this is just beginning to exit out of Springville. But one of the things you'll note with this storm is just how bright it is. The reds and the pinks, that indicate some very heavy rainfall and that possibility of some small hail embedded within it. So as this lifts off to the north and east and approaches Highway 278, spots like Reese City, Gadsden, and around Hood would be in the line of this. I'll try to pull up some first alert times for you. So if you're in northeast Alabama, you have an idea if this would be headed your way here shortly. Right now it's about 11:10, so this is showing about over the next 15 minutes or so. Hood arriving at 11:15, Shiloh a first alert time of 11:20, Pleasant Valley 11:24, and Lester around 11:25. So this particular storm that is coming through could have some strong wind gusts on it, some small hail, and some heavy rain. And one thing Wes and I were noting, that as these storms were coming through Birmingham, and we were hearing the heavy rain and the thunder booming on Red Mountain. It almost sounded unusual because it's been so long since we've seen some heavy rain here in Birmingham. Actually, since August is when we've gotten some decent rainfall. So this is beneficial rainfall, but we're wanting to keep a close eye on this severe threat. And I'm just checking in with our friends at the National Weather Service, and they just reported a gust at the Tuscaloosa airport of 48 miles per hour as this storm is coming through. So that's still below severe limits. If you have wind gusts over 56 miles per hour, that's when it would be considered a severe storm. But still, this is probably the gnarliest storm we're looking at right now that's moving through Tuscaloosa County. So for all of our friends in Tuscaloosa County, just make sure that you're staying indoors. None of this is severe, but I would certainly not want to be out on the roads tonight, Wes. We keep talking about how this rainfall is so beneficial, but certainly don't want to be driving around in it at night.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. And, you know, a lot of what we're dealing with at this point is disruptive weather, nuisance weather, a lot of wet roads. It's late Saturday night. You're hearing those loud rumbles, and we've got tornado watches all over the place, and that's why we're here. We're just helping to clarify where we see impacts and where we don't see those impacts. And at this time, we've had Marion, we've had Lamar, and Winston counties. Threat is over for you. The most intense part of the line right now is pushing through Sumter. There's some areas in here we're watching around Greene County where we got some heavy rain. It's non-severe, but it's borderline. And then in Tuscaloosa, right in this area, you can see there's a little Boeing segment. We could have some winds gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour. As Lauren just noted, a 48 mile per hour wind gust at the Tuscaloosa airport, which is right there. So in this zone from Tuscaloosa right now across the Lurleen-Wallace Bridge, and you get into Northport, you go through historic downtown Northport, right there around McFarland Boulevard, and then go further north. All these areas in here, we're going to be dealing with the winds 40 to 50 miles per hour in those areas right there. Gusty winds, possibility that we could have some nickel-sized hail moving through those areas at this time. And now it looks like Lake Tuscaloosa as well. We had some heavy rain happening there, but we jumped on television because this did show a little bit of rotation trying to show up. And I believe we have another wind report here. Let me check. This is at Tuscaloosa County High School. Seeing a report coming in from a Davis weather station here. Wind speed 31 miles per hour. So right now we're experiencing 31 mile per hour winds right there at County High. I was talking about. Here's Coker, Lake Lurleen's back in here. So now we're getting those 30 plus mile per hour winds. So once this moves through, the severe threat will be over. This is gobbling up all that warm, unstable air. And actually looks like, Lauren, I believe now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for Tuscaloosa County. So there you go. Severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be in effect until midnight tonight for Tuscaloosa County. This is the Warrior River, and the storm at this time is crossed places like Brownville, and now it's mostly impacting around Lake Tuscaloosa, Watermelon Road, Rice Mine Road, Crown Point, and places like that to the north there will be impacted by possibility of some wind gusts topping 58 miles per hour. The Weather Service issuing a severe thunderstorm warning on this cell. Now, want to back the view out, and first off, where is this going? It's pushing through Tuscaloosa, Brookwood. If you're in Abernat, you will be impacted as this moves to the east, and also Jefferson and southern Walker County has been included in this severe thunderstorm warning as well. So if you're in North Haven, Wyndham Springs, that's on Highway 69 there, north of Tuscaloosa. If I call your town out, Wiley, 11:23. Lauren's putting the first alert times that this is a severe thunderstorm, and we're watching it to make sure that we don't see any areas of rotation. We've seen it. It's tried to start to show a little bit of a spin, but hasn't happened. But now we're more concerned about those straight line winds, and that's going to be the big threat, is the gusty winds and the rain with all of these systems tonight. But Wiley, Wyndham Springs, you need to be prepared for a severe thunderstorm. Be in a site-built structure, preferably a sturdy structure, as this makes its way closer to you. There's going to be some wind gusts in here, could top 50 miles per hour. But Graysville is also, you see that included. That's so parts of Jefferson County here. There's North Johns, Hueytown, Pleasant Grove were also included. And how about this, Lauren? When was the last time we saw a flood advisory in Birmingham? I mean, we probably have to go back to May and July. It's been that long.
It has been a minute.
Wow.
And I remember this past June, we kept saying felt more like a May because it was so stormy. But man, it has been a long time since that has happened. Like I said, I was so shocked to hear the thunder and rain, and it's just a testament to the drought. But
it's been a while, and I mean that's the thing. I mean we've needed the wet weather desperately, and to finally get, we had to at least pick up over an inch of rain there in parts of Jefferson County as it's moved to the north. But the rain has lessened up for now. But the final line is approaching there from the west. As we noted, parts of Jefferson County, your weather radio is probably going off for a severe thunderstorm warning, but that is for parts of Jefferson County, southern Walker County. So anywhere out here around Little Shoal, that's one of those locations. Oak Grove, Little Shoal, Lock 17, all those areas there. We're about to encounter some heavy rainfall, some intense lightning. This is what you can expect, some intense lightning, possible wind gust over 58 miles per hour, and the possibility of some small hail. That's something else that we could see out of this. Mostly what I've been seeing tonight, a lot of reports of pea-sized hailstones with these storms as they move on through. Let's look at the shear rate on this. Lauren, just want to check, make sure, and mostly, again, what we're still seeing, there's mostly straight line winds that we're seeing out of this at the moment. So that's the main threat here, straight line winds and also heavy rainfall. But now this is approaching Brookwood. Looks like the leading edge is near Holt now. So out here around River Road and back in towards Holt, Crescent Ridge Road, those areas, we're right there along the leading edge of some of that heavier rainfall now starting to move in around Tuscaloosa County. Let's go look at conditions. Let's go to the big picture here, Lauren. We want to reset the scene, just show folks what's going on here. And a lot of rain to the north. And Coleman, are we still under a tornado watch in Coleman County?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me double check.
Because the threat has ended here. Well, actually, I see our map on. So Coleman County.
I think it has ended, Wes.
So you can see, I mean, you can look at this map in Blount County. Hopefully soon we'll be able to clear away Blount County, but counties are starting to drop here from the tornado watch. So the watch continues further south, but once this part of the line right in here, this is what we've got to need to monitor. Once this passes, the threat will come to an end. But so far, this is actually the only warning that we've had all night long, is this one severe thunderstorm warning, this one storm now that's over Tuscaloosa County. And you can clearly see Lauren is putting the moist air profiles on the screen. This is look at the dew points, and right there is the more stable air. It's already pushed through Fayette, so Fayette, the threat is ended for us. It will soon end here in Jasper. Jasper, we're seeing the more intense storms just south. I mentioned southern Walker County. We're in that warning until midnight, so that's going to include areas around Pumpkin Center south and into parts of Jefferson County, but mostly a lot of rain that we're tracking here tonight. Gadsden area getting some heavy rainfall. Let's go in and take a look at this, Lauren. Look at some of the shear profiles. We want to watch this one as well. Here's Gadsden, south side. Heavy rain around the Coosa River, spreading back in towards Ohatchee. Right there, you see that weak rotation, so that's a good sign at this point. So if you're watching in Ohatchee to Southside and Gadsden, not seeing evidence of something trying to produce a tornado at this time. It's just a lot of rain, a lot of rumbles, and a lot of wind. So just make sure if you can avoid traveling until this passes, but just note that at this point I'm not seeing any evidence that we need to be making our way to the storm shelter at this time. It looks like some times of arrival for the heavier rain. Pilgrim's Rest around 11:24, the Duke area around 11:27, Reed's Mill around 11:28. But some heavy rain there lifting off towards the northeast and parts of Etowah County. So just so far, I mean, a lot of areas here, we're just getting a lot of rain, Lauren, some intense lightning, and East Alabama now starting to feel some of these impacts. But we still are, let's just stay here for just a bit longer. I want to stay on this storm. It's about to impact a lot of areas here, pushing through Tuscaloosa back in towards Birmingham. And I know many are waiting before they go to bed to just see what happens here with this. But at this point, it's just a severe thunderstorm, and it's not doing what we were seeing several scans ago. as this moved through Pickens and Tuscaloosa County. I just don't know what it is about this area out here, but when you start to get these storms, they move into West Alabama, and when that thing moved through into Tuscaloosa, we saw a couple little areas there where it was showing some signs of some stronger rotation. But at this point, Tuscaloosa back in towards Brookwood, heavily impacted with that rainfall, and it is pouring right now around Tuscaloosa, all around the city. There's 359. You can see south of Interstate 2059. You get back in towards the Taylorville area, the old old golf course right there, and the Links area. That's where we're seeing some of that heavier rainfall pushing through the Hillcrest area. But Lauren, we'll send it over to you. I know you've had some of we were seeing some of our sky vision cameras. That one at Lake Tuscaloosa, I mean, it was absolutely pouring there for folks tonight. I know some heavy rainfall and some loud rumbles of thunder.
Yeah, Wes, so some very heavy rain moving through Tuscaloosa County right now. Of course, we need this rainfall. We just don't want to see that severe threat with it. So the only active warning we have in place right now is in Tuscaloosa County and parts of western Jefferson County. So the main threat with this storm that is moving through and pushing to the northeast, this severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, is in effect until 12 a.m. May get expired before then. We'll see. But you'll notice there is some very intense lightning on this. I'll actually pull up the lightning counter with this particular storm. We have over 150 lightning strikes that have been detected on it. So you're hearing that booming thunder, very heavy rain where the pinks, even the blacks are faintly showing up here. That indicates that you've got very high reflectivity values on radar. That is saying that the radar is picking up. There are a lot of objects in the sky, and that object is actually precipitation that is falling. Very heavy rain, possibly even some small hail as this moves northward. So this storm has been trying to show some little kinks along the line. It's relatively behaving in the sense that it's not producing anything in the way of a tornado yet, but we are going to keep a close eye on it. Regardless of whether you were to see an isolated tornado spin up out of this, it is very impactful. It's producing some strong wind gusts as it moves through. As we look here along the line where you're seeing those bright greens showing up, that's indicating some stronger wind gusts. We had seen a report from the National Weather Service that was indicating that as this moved through the Tuscaloosa airport, it produced almost a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust. So this is certainly packing a punch. We'll go ahead and get a reminder on those first alert times as it moves through Tuscaloosa County and approaches western Jefferson County. First alert, Rain Tree Country at 11:23, Jerusalem Heights at 11:23, Running Brook at 11:24, and Skyland Park at 11:24. So that's moving through very quickly here. It's also moving fairly quickly, the storm itself, to the northeast at almost 60 miles per hour, about 55, 60 miles per hour on that. So I'm not seeing anything that stands out right now in terms of some distinct rotation, something that would warrant a tornado warning, but nevertheless, a severe thunderstorm warning. You still want to play it safe this evening. So if we look at our rotation tracker here, it's not showing anything that is standing out, but just indicating there are some strong winds along this. It looks like some of the most intense winds may actually be moving just to the east of Wyndham Springs and going to be approaching areas like Browntown, moving out of Wiley towards Driftwood, and as it gets to the south of Bethel, could also be seeing some strong winds moving through this. So the main thing to note with this is you see those bright greens showing up there. That is indicating possibly that the rotation that is associated with this storm is very broad, but still going to be packing a punch with some strong wind gusts and possibly some small hail, not out of the question. I'm going to pull up our product here called the Barron Triple Threat, and this can help us differentiate between just regular old rain, or could there possibly be some hail falling with this, or could there be some rotation developing? And it looks like this could possibly be producing some 1 inch or less of hail. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get reports of, as this storm is moving through, some small hail in Tuscaloosa County. And remember, if you have any reports in your area, you can let us know with pictures through the First Alert weather app, or you can let us know on social media as well. And any reports you get, we can also feed to the National Weather Service in Birmingham. Any type of report report is considered ground truth. So that can really help us assess these severe events and can also help us in the future better forecast these for you and help give you that first alert even better in the future. But we'll switch back to our rain product, our reflectivity product here, and get a check on the lightning. Even if you don't end up seeing a severe thunderstorm moving through your area like this one in Tuscaloosa County, we cannot discount that there was some very heavy rain, torrential rainfall with some of these thunderstorms and some intense cloud to ground lightning. You do not want to be out driving in the roads with this coming through. And you certainly, if you are under a severe thunderstorm warning with that threat for strong winds, you just want to make sure you are in a safe place, not outdoors. Hopefully you are all safe and inside this evening. But we'll look at the big picture again. So that's our main storm of interest, is this one moving through Tuscaloosa County. And remember, that does include actually the southern tip of Walker County and also western Jefferson County, in effect until 12 a.m. So this is pushing to the north and east at about 50 miles per hour west. But just looking at the big picture, at least we're seeing some improvements far northwest Alabama.
Yeah, I was just looking here, Lauren. I was seeing that the National Weather Service here in Tuscaloosa, Gerald Satterwhite, 40-50 mile per hour range. That's what we're generally seeing with these winds here pushing through the Tuscaloosa area. Also monitoring some of the surges that are occurring along this line as it moves to the east. So if you're in Jefferson County, if you're in Bessemer, if you're anywhere from Bessemer to Adamsville, Graysville, along Highway 269, back in towards Highway 78, back in towards Inslee, all these locations, just letting you know that we're going to have some strong winds, 40-50 miles per hour, blasting through here over the next hour. Okay, that's what we're dealing with, and possibly we're going to be dealing with some quarter-size hail. I saw one report, Lauren, did you see it from the strip there in Tuscaloosa? That's at the University of Alabama right there, right when you go into campus, there was a report of quarter-size hailstones. So that confirms this is a severe thunderstorm at this time. But it's a first alert weather day. You're probably wondering, we have one thunderstorm warning. Why are you on television? But here's the thing, tonight it's late. I know we got tornado watches in many counties right now, so this is one of those setups here where you've just got to watch the radar closely, because you can suddenly start to see some rotation. And what really prompted us when we first popped in on television was the fact that this storm was starting to rotate. Started to see that here in parts of West Alabama, so we didn't hesitate and wanted to jump on here and give you that first alert of what we were watching. But so far, the storm has behaved. I'm glad we're seeing that right now. It's staying below tornadic level, but it is severe. And in a lot of cases, though, when you look at a tornado warning, a lot of times those warnings are a lot smaller, but compared to a severe thunderstorm, you get these large polygons, a lot of areas that are covered. I mean, this storm's impacting places from Coaling and Hargrove Road and Duncanville all the way to Wyndham Springs there, northern Tuscaloosa County. So most of this county being impacted, and now Brookwood, some intense lightning. It is really popping out here around Lake Tuscaloosa. Look at all the lightning strikes there, now crossing Highway 69, but closing in on Jefferson County. Let's reset the scene. Want to go to the big picture for folks watching to the north. A lot of rain happening, nothing severe. If you're getting some rumbles, Jasper and points north, non-severe, just some much needed rainfall, and it is coming down in some of those areas. If you're around Arley right now, seeing some nice pockets of rain. Crane Hill, those areas in Coleman County, love what I'm seeing there as far as the rainfall. Gadsden at this time, we're getting loud rumbles, and this is pushing in closer to Hoax Bluff. Our friends around Weiss Lake and Center, we're about to have a storm that's lifting north, but so far this one is behaving. I know it's making some noise in the Gadsden area, and I know for a lot of folks, Lauren, haven't checked on Gadsden. I know they were still moving ahead with the parade today, but I did see in Trustful, Tyler Young said they were able to, the weather was perfect out there. We had some breaks in the clouds, and it was kind of warm, and that's what's feeding these storms out there tonight. You know, you kind of get nervous a lot of times, Lauren, when you get into December and you're dealing with temperatures in the 70s, right?
Yeah, Wes, I remember one of the most, I've been here about 2 years, I remember one of the most potent events was, it was late December, early January, it started storming, and then several hours later it started snowing. A very bizarre day, but that day temperatures were in the 70s. Now, keep in mind, Probably not going to start snowing in the morning. It's going to get a lot colder, though. Not quite the same dynamics as that system a couple years ago. But yeah, we have been needing this rain. We just don't need the severe threat that comes with it, but can almost catch you off guard because things have been fairly quiet here. So we just want to make sure that before you go to bed tonight, even though the severe threat is low, that you have that reliable way to receive alerts. Fortunately, Wes, as we look, the one active warning, we just have one active warning in our area. So that's good news.
Very good news. And a reminder, by the way, for folks in East Alabama, you can find our weather coverage if you're in Calhoun County in the Anniston area, WJXI in Jacksonville, WOXI in Oxford. They are right now simulcasting in the Anniston area, WOXI, WJXI. We are their partners, and Calhoun County broadcasting weather coverage right now to keep you well informed here in the Anniston, Oxford, Coldwater Mountain areas as these storms make their way through East Alabama. But at this point in the Anniston area, heaviest rains just north of us. And I know a lot of folks may be listening in right now around Jacksonville, and also for the rest of the area, Birmingham back to Tuscaloosa. You can always also hear our weather coverage on your favorite Clear Channel stations like 98 TXT in Tuscaloosa, WZBQ as well, and then in the Birmingham area, News Radio 105.5 as well. So a lot of different places there where you can pick up our coverage on the radio if you are traveling later tonight, and we do have warnings that are issued across the area, just giving you a notification there. And also our First Alert weather app we're streaming. If you do lose power, let's check that. Let's check our power index count here, Lauren, see if we do have any power outages happening. A lot of times that can also correlate of obviously where we're seeing some of those strong winds in the area. I know we don't have a lot of warnings happening to the north. We did have some gusty winds earlier in those areas, but we will take off the watch, and you can see Tuscaloosa looks like we have right now. Lauren's plotting some of the power outage reports, and looks like we do have over 5,000 customers without power right now in Tuscaloosa County. So these storms packing a punch as they move through, and some random outages as you can see around Coleman, Jefferson, St. Clair, Lamar County. And just another reason why we're here for you right now on television is because, you know, in a lot of these situations you lose power, and you need to know what's happening in other parts of the area. Just another source to get some information, which I know you can't watch television if you don't have power, but a lot of folks are watching us on streaming and mobile devices and things like that. So that's another good tool that we have, the power outage index. You can see what's happening there across the state. So there are some impacts tonight, and right now the only warning is down into Tuscaloosa County. I'm just going back and forth here, just checking to see if we have any new storms that will be popping up here soon, or any areas that we're seeing that's trying to rotate. And at this point it looks like it's all just a lot of rumbles and a lot of rain for the most part, Lauren, across our area. And it's nice to see a lot of this pushing to the south, because we're already clearing some of those counties off to the northwest.
Yeah, so if you're tuning in right now, if you live in Lamar County, Marion County, Winston County, or Coleman County, your severe threat is over. You have been taken out of the tornado watch. So what we're going to see here over the next few hours is more counties getting cleared from that. But we still want to keep a close eye on this storm that is moving through Tuscaloosa County and approaching western Jefferson County. It's just been the most potent storm we've probably seen all night. And one reason why that is, well, it's got some torrential rainfall on it, some very intense lightning, but it also has these little kinks along the line. When you see those kinks, that's where you have to watch for the possibility of some rotation. And that's the type of setup we've been seeing with this system. As it comes through our area, we have to watch closely. We almost call it babysitting the radar, because you have to watch for these brief little spin ups that can happen. Best case scenario, that doesn't happen. That doesn't pan out. We hope we can get through tonight with no issues, but we want to take it seriously. We've seen what the system has done in other areas. I think our severe threat is much lower. In comparison, we don't have that upper level support, but we do have plenty of instability, that storm fuel in the atmosphere. We know how warm and humid it got today, and as Wes was saying, when temperatures get in the 70s in December, you don't want to mess around. You want to keep a close eye on things. So we'll reset here where this thunderstorm severe thunderstorm warning is. So it's in effect until midnight, and this does include southern Walker County and parts of Tuscaloosa County and into western Jefferson County. So I'm going to clear the lightning here. It's kind of making the view a little bit messy, but just know there's a lot of lightning associated with this storm. We're going to check to see if there's any rotation, and this is what we're watching for. These little spots, these little kinks along this line as it moves through for the possibility of some strong wind gusts. But notice here where we've got the red popping up, that could indicate some areas of weak rotation that we need to keep an eye on. So this is the type of setup. You could see just a little brief spin up. We're hoping that's not the case, but for now, just a severe thunderstorm warning accounting for, as the National Weather Service has said, already some reports of 40, 50 mile per hour winds with this, and possibly some small hail. We've been getting reports of hail as this moves through. We'll go ahead and get some first alert times. It's been a minute since we've done that. So this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until midnight, moving into Ezra at 11:47. A first alert for Oak Grove at 11:47 as well. Toadvine 11:49, Vines Mill 11:49, and Hopkins at 11:52. This particular storm, the most potent one we're seeing, is moving off to the northeast at 53 miles per hour and could be producing large hail on the diameter of about 1 inch, on the order of that, possibly coming down a little smaller. Remember, if you all have any reports of hail or anything coming through your area, you can let us know on social media. And if you have anything that you can actually measure, if there's something like hail coming through, you can send that in so we can let the National Weather Service know and give them the reports, because that just really helps when you're going back and looking at these events and can really analyze them even better. So this will continue to move off to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. I'll reset the view just to make sure we don't have any other trouble spots. This is the one active warning, and it is a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're tuning in right now, there are no active tornado warnings in place, but we still want to take a severe thunderstorm warning seriously because this is likely producing some strong winds as it moves through Tuscaloosa County, and the possibility of some small hail and some torrential rainfall. But we are seeing some improvements, at least areas across northwest Alabama. I'm going to clear off the rain here so it doesn't look so messy. You can see where that tornado watch is still in place. So this tornado watch has finally cleared areas like Lamar County, Marion County, Winston County, and Coleman County. But over the past hour or so, it did extend farther to the east to include areas across northeast Alabama and a little farther to the south and east too, down that I-65 corridor and down Highway 280. So if you're tuning in and wondering, can I go to bed? Is it safe? Well, if you're in northwest Alabama, you should be good. But if you want to go ahead and go to sleep and you're in the tornado watch area, just make sure you have a reliable way to receive alerts like the WBRC First Alert weather app or your NOAA weather radio. That's always valuable because goodness knows that is loud and will wake you up. What you don't want to rely on are outdoor tornado sirens. That's an antiquated technology and only works if you're outside. And my hope is that you're staying indoors if it's nighttime. So Wes, we just have that one active warning we're watching, but just kind of a situation where we're having to watch the radar closely.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. And tonight it's a first alert weather day because of these impacts from a lot of rainfall and finally some much needed rain. You can see stretching from areas southwest to northeast. We've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, but areas to the north, the severe threat coming to an end from Haleyville to Coleman, but the severe storm that we're tracking right now pushing through Tuscaloosa County, and it's still holding at severe thunderstorm level. But even though it's a severe storm, we still could have some winds in here, 50, 60 miles per hour, some of those rogue wind gusts, and that's now crossing the leading edge of that, the Tuscaloosa Jefferson County line, and some really heavy rainfall also impacting Interstate 20 here between Tuscaloosa and Woodstock. There's going to be some gusty winds in these areas. Folks listening in on the radio may want to pull off the rest stop there and let this pass on by, as now this is approaching around the Woodstock, the Highway 5 Woodstock exit and West Blockton exit there, but still seeing a little bit of rotation here or some enhanced wind speeds. Let's go in really close right there, Lauren. This is where we have some of the strongest winds at the moment. That has pushed through Pattersontown. Do we have our shear markers pulled up? We need to make sure we have that activated as well, just in case we end up. Let's go in really close here. There's Mud Creek, Weller, Abernat, I mentioned a few moments ago, the Peterson Jefferson and Brookwood, Abernat areas, all impacted by some strong winds, and definitely throughout this entire event. These are some of the stronger winds, and there we go. We're seeing some rotation here. We may be seeing a tornado trying to form. Let's take a closer look at this. Yeah, we're watching this area just north of Brookwood. We might be getting a little spin happening. If you're in the Mud Creek, Ezra area, going ahead and give you that first alert. Let's watch this. Let's be ready here soon. We might see something trying to form here. We're looking at the velocity, but there's a little curvature right here in this area. And that's right around Bull City. There's Toadvine as well. This is moving in your direction. Mud Creek, Weller. There's North John, Sylvan Springs, and Alliance. All these areas giving you the first alert for this as it moves to the north and east direction, moving on I-20. I-20 East, Tuscaloosa, Coaling, seeing some of the reports coming in from the Weather Service, so they're also keeping a watch on this one area here that's along the leading edge. Hopefully it disappears in the next scan, but we are seeing a lot of these little quick spin-ups that happen, and this is what you deal with on a line like this. That's why you have to closely watch the radar. You get something that may show up in one scan, the next scan it goes away. So let's see if this continues to ramp up here in the next scans, which we saw that happen there the past couple of radar scans as this is now pushing into Jefferson County. Birmingham is back in here. Here's Birmingham. Hoover is down here. Gardendale to the north. Jasper, this is south of you. Tuscaloosa, this is east of us. This is between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. If you're watching in Bessemer, if you're watching in Midfield and Fairfield, this would be passing just to the north there. You can see Ezra, Sylvan Springs. I mentioned Adgers, another area in here where this is approaching, and that is a very impressive a little notch there that's starting to make its way. Again, we're in a situation, in an environment where we could get a tornado warning, so this may be upgraded. Just stand by here as we monitor this. Toadvine, Mud Creek, Ezra areas as it moves to the north and east direction. We're watching this storm. Let me go back to look at some conditions here on this. I'm just looking at some of the radar data. And Lauren, if you see some information, don't hesitate to jump in here as we monitor. Let's back the view out once again for folks so they can kind of see where this is, and let's stop it right there. And there's the updated severe thunderstorm warning, and that's the thing about when you have a severe thunderstorm warning like this, and I know we see a lot of these throughout the year. It may not be a tornado warning, but severe storms are what produce the tornadoes. So you know, hopefully at this point where a lot of folks are at least sheltered right now as this approaches. This storm's going to certainly have some gusty winds, but there it is right there. Let's go ahead and put some times on that. Lauren, we might have to do a manual track. I know we sometimes have to adjust those times. We'll get a lot of times. Well, there we go. See, the rotation disappeared. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So we're still seeing that Oak Grove 11:49. Look to the left of your screen. You can see some of the first alert times here for this as this moves to the north and east. The Toadvine area 11:52. Rock Creek around 11:54. Alliance around 11:56. And
watching this storm closely.
Okay, so
they're ready to pull the trigger at any time if need be.
Okay, well listen, if you're in Jefferson County, I'll just tell you right now, if you're around Vines Mill, Alliance, Toadvine, all these areas, you know, I would be certainly putting my shoes on right now just in case we need to get to a safe place, okay? Because this storm is trying to rotate here, and it is borderline at the moment. We're certainly going to have some strong wind gusts in here, but you can see as this is getting a little bit closer, hopefully this weakens as it moves further to the north. You can see right there what Lauren is drawing. We do have a notable notch, inflow notch there into that line. Some of those winds that are wrapping in and feeding this, you can kind of see there's some spin going on. You're not actually looking at precipitation. We're looking at the direction, the winds that are moving towards the radar. You can always follow this legend that we have at the top of the screen, winds towards and away from the radar, and that's what we're looking for. We've got the technology here to do some real-time analysis, and you can clearly tell right in here we got some very strong rotation. Let's get this into street level, Lauren, and let's name some of these areas. I want to go in here really close to Jefferson County because we're seeing some strong winds, and I mentioned Mud Creek. This is going to be out around Mud Creek Road in Jefferson County. This is going to be, I mentioned Toadvine, Oak Grove. If you're in any of these areas, you need to be ready to seek shelter just in case this is upgraded to a tornado warning. We're kind of at a level 2 here. We're kind of in a standby mode as this makes its way into Jefferson County. But do stay in a sturdy shelter. Don't try to leave your home at this point because it's on top of you. You're going to have some heavy rain, some gusty winds out there. Certainly not a good time to be on the roads here. But Lauren is circling some of the communities. Here's Johns and North Johns, and I mentioned Adger a few moments ago, goes back in here. So we're certainly exposed to some of these winds that's going to be moving in from the west direction there across West Alabama. But if you're in Jefferson County, anywhere from Rock Creek to Concord, Sylvan Springs, Highway 41, if you were watching me around County Road 41, that's basically Rock Creek Road. If you're watching around Rock Creek Road in those areas, that's where this is approaching these strong winds at this time. But mostly, you can tell to the south here that the abrupt change in wind direction. I mean, you can see we've got the winds that are moving away from the radar, moving to the north. These winds are moving south to north. The radar is down in Shelby County, so the winds are moving to the north, and then you've got these winds racing in from the west and northwest direction coming in here. So there's an abrupt change in the wind direction. That's the leading edge of those stronger winds. And look, Lauren, 75-mile-per-hour wind. Did it just drop?
Let me pull it. I think it moved a little bit.
Yeah,
there
look at. So we're picking up. Let's go to triple threat. Can we pull that up? Mm-hmm. The Barron triple threat. Let's bring that up. So this is showing a possibility of some large hail at this time. But there's some areas in there, some of the velocity data pointing at 60+ mile-per-hour winds, 60 to 70 mile-per-hour winds with this thing. Certainly the kind of winds that we're going to probably end up with some trees toppled in a few areas from this storm as it makes its way through Jefferson County. So Okay. So our rotation indicator, you can see that did back off. So hopefully here we're going to see this thing. Hopefully it'll weaken a little bit further as it moves on closer to places like Concord and Pleasant Grove, and it's still though showing in some of our products. You see right there, strong rotation, Mud Creek Road, Ezra, and points there to the south towards North John. So that's what we're watching. Inbound winds are strong, and they're watching for stronger and tighter outbound winds. It hasn't been able to, the Weather Service, they're looking at some of these low-level scans of this, and it's right there, it's close, but not at the point of issuing a tornado warning. You want to see, when you look at this velocity data, you want to see a tighter configuration on something like this with respect to the inbound and outbound winds. But this is clearly indicating to me that we've got some winds that could be straight line damaging winds at the least moving across parts of Jefferson County. So just stay put, and it's moving quickly. Most of what you see here, by the way, is out of Tuscaloosa County. And let me just back out a little bit further here, Lauren, so we can see down into Tuscaloosa. But yeah, it looks like most of this now pushing into the Birmingham area, but pushing into West Birmingham, so around Hueytown, severe thunderstorm. That's right around North John. So we'll stay with this here just a bit longer. This storm, that's the second time, Lauren, we've seen it show indications of rotation when it moved into Tuscaloosa, and then again when it moved into parts of Jefferson County. But this is a flood advisory, if you're just now joining us, that popped up over Jefferson County, and Lauren and I were talking about it's been so long since we've seen something like that here across the Birmingham area, but we finally picked up over an inch of rain in a lot of locations, and look at what's on the way. We got some more heavy rainfall, and this is moving towards Birmingham. This is moving towards Fairfield, Midfield. I mentioned all these areas back to the Oxmoor Valley and back into Bessemer and McCalla. We're all going to deal with some of these gusty winds and heavy rainfall as this moves through, but at this point, the good news is, even though this storm has tried to scare us a couple of times, it has not produced a tornado, or at least the ingredients to meet that level of a tornado warning right now over Jefferson County. So that's a good sign. So we'll keep a watch on this again as this moves on to the east. Let's back the view out once more to see what's happening to the north, and just a lot of rain, and need to keep a watch on some of these storms here south moving into Hale County, those remain quite intense. Some real heavy rain back into Tuscaloosa County there. Then right there could have some small hail around Akron happening right now. Some gusty winds, some hail, intense lightning about to cross Melville there to Akron right around Highway 69 South, but that is a non-severe storm. The storm of the moment is the one that is moving into Jefferson County right around Woodstock. So what's the deal here? Tornado watch has been expanded until 2 o'clock. And Lauren, you may want to go ahead and pull up some of that forecast data too. Let's go to Lauren. I just want Lauren to show us how this will all evolve for the rest of tonight. And let's talk about as we go into the day tomorrow, because by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, this threat is going to be ending for most of the area.
Yeah, Wes, and just briefly, I don't know why it popped up, but there was our drought monitor and showing we are still under extreme drought for parts of our area. So the fact that we are getting some rainfall with this system is very beneficial. Of course, we don't want to see the severe threat with that, but this tornado watch is going to remain in effect until 2 a.m. Central Time. We have already seen, if we zoom in here, the 4 counties from our neck of the woods that have been cleared from that watch. So if you live in Calhoun County, Winston County, Marion County, Lamar County, you're in the clear. Other spots not quite there just yet. I do expect over the next few hours we'll gradually see counties being cleared from the northwest to the southeast. But I wanted to show you, as Wes was mentioning, that forecast data. Let's look at the next 24 hours here. And I'm just keeping a close eye on radar as I'm showing you this. So this is the line, the messy line, the configuration that is moving through right now, situated along that I-2059 corridor. As we go into tonight, we're about 10 minutes out from midnight now. It's still going to be situated along that corridor, but gradually moving to the south and east. So remember, the actual tornado watch is in effect until 2 a.m. Central Time. And this is what our high resolution futurecast is showcasing, that around 2 a.m. Central Time, likely the severe threat north and west of I-2059 will be coming to an end, but there's still going to be a low-end severe threat, still some booming thunderstorms, still some gusty winds and heavy rainfall as this line is pushing south and east of I-2059. So we'll go forward here in time. Here we are around 4 a.m. showing the worst of the storms, now areas to the south and east. That's including parts of Talladega County up to Calhoun County, Clay County, Coosa County, Chilton County. But what I want you to know, here we are at 4 a.m. Look at what is happening to temperatures. Getting into the 40s. Remember how warm and gross it felt outside today? Well, that cold front is coming in. And as that cold front comes in, not only is it going to bring in colder air, it's going to bring in more stable air, drier air. And so that's going to help to kind of gobble away that severe threat. So the only spot left around 4 a.m. that maybe you could still see a strong to severe storm, a low-end threat for that persisting, would be in east central Alabama, closer to areas like Tallapoosa County, Chambers, into Randolph County. So there is a chance that after this main batch moves through, there's still going to be some rain on the backside of it, but eventually by tomorrow morning, it's likely going to be turning into a cold rain, unfortunately. But that's Alabama, right? You have these storms, the severe storms come through. Hopefully we keep this threat below severe limits for most of us. But by 8, 9 a.m., there still could be some lingering showers in the morning. It's still going to be cloudy, but it's going to be a lot colder and it's going to be a lot breezier. So just be prepared. You go to bed tonight, still feels warm, sticky, yucky outside, and then you wake up tomorrow morning cooler and eventually turning drier by tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, we're keeping a close eye still on this one storm west that is moving through Tuscaloosa County, getting into western Jefferson County now. This is still the only active warning in our area in effect until midnight. So our main concern is just watching for any little kinks along the line that could indicate the possibility of some rotation west.
All right, Lauren, let's go to our first alert sky vision. Live look right now over, this is from Grandview Medical Center over Jefferson County, a live look. We're at 63 degrees. You can see that low clouds there, very ominous clouds. That's those storms now approaching from the west direction. Severe storms of moving into the Birmingham area. A first alert if you're in the Birmingham area. Now the heavier rain has backed off. You can see that latest view. Well, a little bit of rain, but not as heavy there in Tuscaloosa. Sanders Aviation, Jasper, we're in Walker County here. It's 59. We're stable. Severe weather threat has ended for us right now in Jasper. The severe threat ended there. It's raining steadily. You can see here in downtown from Young Jewelers, 59 degrees at this time. Birmingham downtown, we're showing 63 degrees. Winds northwest at 11 miles per hour. And Lauren, I'm just looking here. Dew point at 59. That's not off the chart. So with respect to surface-based instability, that is a good sign, seeing those dew points a little bit lower. But just note that we do have some intense lightning, some gusty winds about to move into the Birmingham area. So I see a lot of folks out and about there tonight. So just I see some cars there downtown, some traffic moving along. We're going to be dealing with some gusty winds. Montevallo looks like we might have lost that feed there, of course. Oak Grove, Talladega County, 67. We're still not far from 70. So these areas to the south, it's still kind of soupy. Also noticing the winds gusting at 17 miles per hour. So we're under a tornado watch here. Talladega County, Sylacauga areas. We're watching it closely for you. At this point, again, a lot of the storms that we're seeing, a lot of this activities in areas a bit further to the north and back to the north and east. Let's go back to radar, and did have a view. I want to see if I can get this pulled up here quickly. This just in from Ryan Carty in Jefferson County, reporting that we do have some strong wind gusts and some intense lightning happening right now. See if we got that feedback. There we go. Yeah, this is lightning starting to pick up. This is in parts of Jefferson County. This is out around Birmingport and the Adger area. So we're starting to get storms there. That lightning starting to pick up as the severe storm makes its way into Jefferson County. And back to, see if we can get back to, Lauren, can you go back to radar view over there, please?
It is on radar view. Let me see if I can.
Okay, there we go. So had to go back to our router. So let's take a look at the severe thunderstorm warning at this time, and we're still watching Jefferson County. We're getting some strong wind gusts now around Eastern Valley Road. We gave you that first alert here in McCalla. Strong winds right now, heavy rainfall. What you're looking at is the possibility of a little bit of rotation where we have those strong winds. Thankfully, so far this storm is behaving. The only active warning that we have at this time remains across Jefferson County. So Jefferson County, we're going to, I mentioned Birmingham's going to have some heavy rain, some gusty winds, but the severe part of this storm, the warning right now is back into the western part of the county. I don't know if they're going to extend that to include the city as this moves further east, but we're certainly going to get the rain, the gusty winds as this tracks further to the east direction. But this clearly you can look at this and tell a lot of heavy rainfall, a lot of communities impacted here. Looking at the hail probabilities around 80%, so there's a chance that we still probably have some pea-sized hailstones moving east-northeast at 47 miles per hour, but all areas impacted here through midnight. Our data has done an incredible job here with the timing on this, but it's close to midnight. Here it goes. I remember some of the models even 3 or 4 nights ago were suggesting that it would be 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. that this line will be moving through Birmingham, and you can see there Hueytown now heavy rainfall, Bessemer area. And areas further west, if you're in Tuscaloosa, if you're north of there, severe threat has ended. This is now more of a concern in a Jefferson County, if anything, but the storm continuing to press on eastward to Hueytown, Concord, so you're going to get those winds, most likely 40, 50 miles per hour, perhaps a rogue wind gust close to 60 miles per hour out of this, based on the observations, what we've been seeing so far with this storm system at this time. And some of the heaviest rain is actually impacting some of our busiest roads. As you can see now around Bessemer and 459, rainfall really coming down here. That's out towards Powder Plant Road, and that's going to be tracking right now Lipscomb and Brighton. Your areas, Minor, and areas further north. You get in towards places like Sylvan Springs, Rock Creek Road. Right now, some of the heaviest of the rain as this moves in. And this is round number 2 after we finally got some much needed rain earlier. Did we actually go back and check, Lauren? Let's bring in the rainfall estimates. I'd just be curious to see what we've picked up so far across the area, because we had that one storm. Look at this. It moved across St. Clair County. Yeah, this is an area where we totally missed out last week for a lot of these areas west and into eastern Alabama. But look at that, over an inch of rain around Birmingham. Look at Tuscaloosa radar estimating we've picked up over 2 inches of rain around places like Ralph and Foster's, back in towards Knoxville and Coleman areas to the north. Everybody, a lot of areas where we've just been missing out, it seems like, week after week. That's the one good thing about tonight, is we're finally gotten some much needed rainfall, and more of this as this all slides southward. I know we haven't seen a whole lot so far, areas to the south, but this is about to get down into Shelby County, points further south down into Chilton County as well. But we do have a tornado watch. It's not a severe thunderstorm watch, a tornado watch that will remain in effect until 2 o'clock in the morning, but counties being trimmed away as this continues to the east. This does include everybody in the WBRC Fox 6 coverage area. So if you make sure before you head off to bed, you have our First Alert weather app. Based on what we're seeing right now, I mean, we clearly have an area that needs to be monitored. It's this zone that's through Jefferson County, Tuscaloosa County, and points south. So far, only one severe thunderstorm warning along that line. But anytime you see something like this and it's got these little bowing segments, that tells me that we could have some strong winds in there. So this is going to get our attention as it moves on to the east here. It's now closing in on Birmingham. It's now crossing around McCalla and Bessemer and now pushing into Bibb County. But Tuscaloosa is behind this now. So Northport, Tuscaloosa, north to Samantha, severe weather threat is over. Fayette, Jasper, severe threat over. Coleman, and very soon we'll be able to clear places like Warrior and back to Gardendale as the line moves to the east. But let's get in really close, and now it looks like this is just within, let's see, 11:58 right now. We're probably within 15-20 minutes. This crossing the Birmingham area with some very heavy rain and some gusty winds. But the Weather Service, Lauren, are any indications that we're going to expand this, the severe thunderstorm warning through Birmingham, or we're going to let this expire?
I'm not seeing any reports yet that it will be extended.
Okay.
If that's the case, I have not seen that yet.
All right, so hopefully we'll see that expire here soon, and I believe what we're going to do, I mean, we'll stay on this. Let's just keep a watch on this here as it moves into Birmingham. I know we got some heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. I'm getting a lot of reports here. A tree across a house in Cherokee County, Alabama. This was along Hills Drive. No injuries or entrapment, but that's coming from Cherokee County. So that's that one storm and that heavy rain that was moving through northeast Alabama. And by the way, if you do have any reports to pass along, you can find us with one platform I always love to look at, Twitter, all the social media platforms. You can find myself, you can find Lauren there. And if you have our First Alert weather app, you can also submit weather photos. Typically, I know it's nighttime, and I don't want anybody going out in the middle of a storm right now, but if it's tomorrow or whenever, if you do have any damage reports that we need to go back and investigate and say, hey, was this a severe storm, things like that, you know, the Weather Service, they go out and they do storm assessment, you know, pictures and things like that often help us as well. So just letting you know, you can submit those on the First Alert weather app. But here we go, a new severe thunderstorm warning now has been issued. So we've been tracking this out of Tuscaloosa County, and this has also included parts of Blount and St. Clair County. So this is the storm of the night. Thankfully, so far, we haven't seen this go to the level of tornadic thunderstorm, but it is producing some strong winds, and there's a chance that we could have some damaging straight line winds out of this. Okay, so this is closing in now on the city of Birmingham. We're getting the heaviest rain around Pleasant Grove, Concord, Hueytown. We gave you that first alert. There's Adamsville, Highway 269. So anywhere from the Old Gorgas steam plant points southward, right now you're getting some of the heaviest rain out of this storm at this time. Some intense lightning as this moves to the east, and this will continue. The best thing to do, Lauren, is go to future radar, and let's take this and let's just take it step by step. We're going to have to go just hold the map right there. Let's go back into where we were so we can see some of the communities, and let's zoom in just a little bit more. All right, let's stop it right here. Now let's just take it out. Let's go frame by frame. So watch the time here. There's midnight. So this is future radar. We're taking this out the next 60 minutes. So giving you some first alert times. Where will this go? So as we get closer to 12:15, by that point, we've got some of the greatest impacts: Inslee, Fairfield, Lipscomb, Adamsville, Sayre. Those areas impacted. Gardendale, it's going to be approaching us by 12:15. Fultondale crossing Birmingham by 12:20. So a first alert time, Irondale to Birmingham, Vestavia Hills, so the heart of the area. And actually the forecast data suggesting, Lauren, we may again see some quarter-size, nickel to quarter-size hailstones around Fultondale and Gardendale. There's Pinson. Let's stop it right here, 1230. So we're looking at the Center Point Parkway up to Pinson, and you get in towards Turkey Creek, those areas there off to the north. You can see around Brentwood and Clay, Chalkville, Trussville. There's the Roebuck area, and there's 1240. So by that point, we're past the East Lake area, and then approaching Springville, Margaret, and Moody. Let's take it out close to, so we're getting out 60 minutes from now, so you can kind of see an hour. Most of this is going to be into places like Aniana, crossing around Highland Lakes and Straight Mountain, Springville, Margaret, Argo, Odenville, 1250. Okay, so by 1250, expect those impacts. After that, just know the severe threat's coming to an end. Once this storm passes, that's going to be the last that we see. This is just a lot of rain and embedded rumble, some good sleeping weather behind this, but we do need to be alert for this severe storm as it makes its way into the area. Now, we looked at the north part of this storm, Lauren. Let's go in and kind of look at this area on future radar. Let's zoom in one more time and let's take this out. We've got the heavy rain right around Bessemer, Lipscomb, and Brighton. I mentioned that's now going to be moving its way across Oxmoor Valley. So here we go. There's the times again, close to midnight. We're going to take this out 60 minutes just to show you times of arrival. There's midnight. We take it out to 12:12, and the leading edge once again around Birmingham, around Bluff Park, the Hoover Met you see there pushing over towards Bent Brook Golf Course, and those areas impacted. There's 12:15. We'll take this on out to close to 12:30. Leading edge from Vestavia Hills through Hoover, crossing right around Lorna Road, crossing back around the Heatherwood Country Club area, back to the south, Valleydale Road, the leading edge, Altadena Woods, and those communities here, Caldwell Mill Road, that's going to be around 12:30. Looks like around the Pump House Road areas as well. Cahaba Heights, there's Cahaba Heights being impacted by 12:40. Dunavant being impacted by 12:40. So all these areas by 12:40 to 1 o'clock, some heavy rain, some gusty winds as that moves on through. But that's our future radar. You see there next 60 minutes. This is actually part of our radar system, our storm track system, some of the higher resolution data that we have in the system here, and it does one of the best jobs there forecasting where these storms are going. But that's the only severe storm. I know folks now are waking up if you're around Mountville, down to Greensboro, over to Brent. I know you're getting some heavy rain, some intense lightning right now. That storm is non-severe, so we are paying attention to it, but it is not severe at this time. Just a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain. But hey, we're staying up with you here tonight in the First Alert Weather Center. Since we have declared a First Alert Weather Day, we know a lot of folks, we've had so many questions and wondering about the weather, and we're staying on top of it, and might as well just give you the minute by minute on this as it impacts the heart of the area here, pushing through Birmingham, and a lot of rain, some heavy rain now around Bessemer. And once again, the initial reason we popped on television is this. We're getting indications here that it might be about to produce a tornado, and then it backs off. So hopefully, here we go again. We're seeing some indications of a little bit of spin. Hopefully it doesn't go to that next stage, but we are keeping a watch on this line as it moves through. Certainly going to get some gusty winds, and that is around Powderly. I mentioned anywhere from Frenchtown and over towards Miles College, and all those locations there are right now getting some of the heaviest of the rain pushing through Birmingham. Lauren, do you have any reports you want to pass along? I know it's late at night, and that's the one thing, you get at this hour, it's tough to take pictures or get a lot of visualization when it comes to, what some of these storms are doing out there at this time. A lot of rain, and really just so far what I've been seeing is small hail reports. There was that one report in Tuscaloosa, quarter-size hailstones out on the University of Alabama, but that was the last report I saw.
Yeah, Wes, what I do want to draw folks' attention to is that we've had some more counties cleared from the tornado watch. If we look across West Alabama, Walker County, Fayette County, Tuscaloosa County, Pickens County, Sumter County, and Greene County now have been cleared from the watch, so we can sound the all clear for you that severe threat is over. But now that severe threat is shifting to the I-20-59 corridor, getting along and west of I-65, and also south of I-20. I-2059. So this is gradually making its way across. The one cell we definitely want to keep an eye on is this one that is moving into Jefferson County, western Jefferson County. And as Wes was noting, it's this little appendage here on radar near Fairfield and just to the west of Birmingham, really in West Birmingham, that we've got to keep a close eye on this storm as it moves through. So if you're seeing this, like, what is that random cylinder there? That is our system picking up on the possibility of some rotation on this as it moves across Bessemer Superhighway. And so this is getting actually close to I-20. It's pushing off to the northeast. So we want to look at some of our products here. I'm checking to see if we have any reports from the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service in Birmingham, they do such a great job of not pulling the trigger unless they're absolutely sure, because they want to keep that false alarm rate down. And they're just very skilled at what they do. So we're going to keep a close eye on this and see if we get any updates from them. But this one cell has been the one that is just trying to cause some trouble.
Yeah,
you see these
every couple of scans we start to see rotation again.
Right, yeah. So it just, and this is the type of environment, and we've kind of been talking about this all week. If we were to see a tornado manifest, it was going to be a little isolated, likely a brief spin up. Now on the northern tier of this line, outside of Alabama and Tennessee, where we saw those damaging, deadly tornadoes today, in that area, there was more upper level support for this system for that severe threat to manifest, which is why we saw those more robust storms that produce the tornadoes. That's not to say we couldn't see a tornado tonight, but the dynamics were a little different up there. But now this is kind of that prime time for us. If we were going to see anything, this is going to be the time for that to happen. So if you are in Vestavia Hills, Hoover, living along Highway 31 and around Homewood, we are seeing some strong winds moving in, and this is what we're watching closely for rotation as it approaches the Birmingham metro area. But so far, this rotation looks fairly broad. So I think even if you don't see an isolated tornado out of this, you are going to be hearing some strong wind gusts coming through, and there's some intense lightning on this as well. As we pull up our lightning counter, this has about 60 lightning strikes on it in this one particular cell. And we were just noting from the National Weather Service, one of our friends over there, noting that this rotation that is approaching Homewood and Hoover is broad, but we're keeping an eye on it. Actually, just what I was saying, the gusty winds are really what we want to pay attention with. We know gusty straight line winds can be a pain all on their own. If you've had a severe thunderstorm come through and you happen to get damage from straight line winds, you know sometimes if the winds are intense enough, that can be on par with a low end tornado. And I think Wes right now, if I can tell, he is actually pulling up some of our first alert sky vision cameras so we can get an idea of this storm, actually put some eyes on it as it's moving into western Jefferson County, West, where we're watching this broad rotation.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. You'll see here on our camera, this is from Adair Tire in Gardendale. We've had some intense lightning happening in that area. You can see the rain coming down at this time. 63 degrees, winds north at 10 miles per hour. So these storms pressing through. These are severe storms right now. If you're waking up, you're getting that first alert here in Gardendale. These are severe thunderstorms that are now making their way through Jefferson County. It is 12:10 in the morning. WBRC First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, along with meteorologist Lauren Linahan. We are breaking in for a First Alert weather day. We've got some weather coverage here for you because earlier we were watching storms that were moving into Jefferson County, and we started to see some rotation with those storms as they moved into Tuscaloosa, and that's when we went on television and we thought we might have a warning coming, and we just stayed on this. You can clearly tell a very ominous sky. We've got a low cloud base here, a low ceiling with those clouds moving into Jefferson County, some heavy rainfall. This is the view looking back to the northwest from Grandview Medical Center right now, where the temperature is 63 degrees, but that lightning, it is popping. Actually, let's go back, Lauren. I was noticing right in here, and already see that heavy rainfall back there to the north that's about to move into the city. So we got some heavy rain here about to impact Birmingham. You're probably hearing those rumbles, a lot of loud rumbles. Look at the lightning starting to pop here. The view from the McQuain Science Center. And this is a live look from downtown Birmingham. So I see a lot of cars there still, folks out and about tonight. But make sure you get to where you need to go, because it's about to be very windy, 40, 50 mile per hour winds. We could have some severe wind gusts here through Birmingham, and also some very heavy rainfall. Summerton, one thing to point out is the temperature is 59 degrees. So you go a little bit further north, that stable air is really starting to take over in those areas to the north, but still looks like there in the Summerton area, a lot of rainfall. Let's jump back over to another camera. This is a bit further south, but that's in the Oak Grove right now, where it is 67 degrees. So we are looking at right now, we need to go back to our radar once again. We're seeing some strong rotation here, and this is right around Homewood. Meteorologist Lauren Linahan, we are zooming in on this. So right from Vestavia Hills to Homewood, we got some strong winds being indicated. And Lauren, we can just go ahead and let's just turn this off, and let's get in really close here. And of course, this isn't far from us actually here on Red Mountain, where we're seeing these stronger winds. So we're going to be able to, of course, give some observation here to this, and typically the winds are often, wind speeds are higher here where we're located at Red Mountain. We often get those gusty winds, and we've had some intense lightning already tonight. But Homewood right now, there's Grove Park, Cullen Place. I'm just trying to look, let me look at the map here, Lauren. I'm just having a tough time seeing. I need to zoom in a little bit closer. I just want to see some of these areas. So there's Lakeshore Drive. Okay, so Lakeshore Drive right now. So this is pushing through. There's Lakeshore, Highway 31. If we can get our camera at Brookwood Medical Center, that's going to give us a good view of this, what's going on out there in real time as this moves through. We have a camera that is located at Brookwood Medical Center right here, so we'll be able to bring that up. But the winds, according to this, we have some. Do we have a good view?
Yeah, it's
okay. Let's go back. Can we go back to our graphic system here? So this is a live look from Brookwood Baptist Medical Center.
There it is.
Yeah, and we've got the strong winds now here on Red Mountain. So we've got some intense winds. You can see it is whiteout conditions right now in Homewood. Folks, we got some severe thunderstorms moving through the area tonight. This is a nasty storm at this time. And folks, I just can't stress enough, you need to be off the road. People right now on 280 are caught in all this. It is just a blinding rain, but on top of that, we've got winds that cause what you see right there. It's almost like being in a hurricane or a tropical storm. I mean, you can just see the blowing rain, and it's whiteout conditions, gusts likely over 40, 50 miles per hour. But that is crossing right now in Homewood at Lakeshore Parkway. We've got some very strong winds there tonight. So this is a severe thunderstorm, and wow, did you see the lightning there? Yeah. It's just almost continuous in that camera view. But a live look from Brookwood Baptist Medical Center as severe thunderstorms move through the area, and it almost looked a little bit like a glow to that. Did you notice that? Yeah. Almost like a green glow. When you see that sometimes, almost a greenish glow with a severe storm like this, that is telling us that we could likely...
We're getting reports of hail in Homewood.
Well, there you go. That's an indicator of hail, and that's why we're seeing that. But we've got some strong winds, and you can see even, it looks like little pieces of debris. You see that flying by the camera, and actually we just lost the feed. We just lost the feed. Let's go back to, well, there we go. There's the feeds coming back right now. So again, folks, if you're waking up to this, this is a very intense, severe thunderstorm right now pushing through Homewood and Birmingham, pushing through Jefferson County, and actually we're seeing those impacts. We do have hail falling right now.
We're getting reports of trees down in Hoover.
So we're getting reports of trees down in the Hoover area at this time.
And reports of hail in Homewood.
Yeah, it's hailing right now.
Yeah, we hear it here at the station, actually.
Yeah, we have large hail falling here on Red Mountain right now with this storm, and actually, Lauren,
small circulation on the south side of Alabaster, Wes.
And I don't know, folks, if you can hear this, but I'm just stepping. I'm not walking outside.
We can hear it, Wes, through your microphone.
Yeah, so you can hear the large hail that's hitting the door here outside the television station. And actually, I just want to walk around and take a look to see what size that we're seeing here. And Yeah, it looks like we may have perhaps dime size falling here on Red Mountain right now, but it wouldn't surprise me if we had quarter size hailstones or greater. And I know for a lot of folks, Lauren, that is certainly, I mean, you can clearly tell it is really rocking here on Red Mountain. Let's go back to radar and let's get out ahead of this.
Wes, I actually just noted too that around Alabaster, they're noticing some rotation has been developing, the National Weather Service, and this is right near the radar site, so it's a little hard to see it. But this is south of what we're dealing with now here in the Homewood area.
So Regent Lane, per Hoover Fire Department, we've got an entrapment now being reported. As meteorologist Lauren Linahan saying, that is in the Hoover. If the newsroom, if you're listening, we're getting some reports here now of some trees down and some impacts in the Hoover area. Reports coming in out of western Jefferson County, out of Concord and Hueytown. A large tree branch that was partially blocking the road. Let me see here, I'm getting a report also. Okay, so we have at this point getting some reports of just a lot of reports coming in of strong winds now pushing in through Jefferson County. So folks tuning in right now, we have a severe storm. The strongest winds now about to cross, or they should have crossed. Let's get in here closer. Is this the latest scan?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you were in Shelby County. Let's get in back to Birmingham. So 280 right here. 280, the strongest winds have crossed 280. What we were just seeing on our camera. And Hutch, if you're listening in the back, I don't know, you might want to, if you can take our other system and put it in a double box, we can see that camera and we can show folks here on TV. But that was at Brookwood Medical Center. But those strong winds now, we're getting the hail, the damaging winds now pushing out towards Crestline, Mountain Brook areas, and now there's Crestline Gardens right there. I mentioned Crestline. There's Brookwood Road. So Brookwood Road, Cherokee Road, those areas. There's Overbrook Road. That's another area you can see, and now it's continuing to press on some of those stronger winds. Here's Interstate 459. So just trying to look. Can we back out the view a little bit? Okay, so yeah, here's Liberty Parkways right here. So there's Liberty Parkway, there's Overton Road and Liberty Parkway areas being impacted. So this is pushing through Cahaba Heights at this time, those strong winds, and where we could be dealing with some tree damage at this time. I know this is waking you up there if you're around Brookwood Road. It's not a tornado, it's a severe thunderstorm. We're most concerned at this time for straight line winds. I know when you look at this is showing strong rotation, but a lot of straight line wind gust over 40, 50 miles per hour. That's what we're seeing with this as this moves on to the east direction. But let's back the view out and go into Shelby County as well, Lauren. You can see those winds there, 63 miles per hour. And Lauren, you were talking about Hoover, and in these areas, some of those stronger winds have now pushed, let's see here, looks like over towards, looks like it's crossed Highway 280 now. Yeah, we're still seeing around Liberty Park, again, some of those stronger winds. But most of this is now through Birmingham, the heart of Birmingham, and now pushing in towards East Birmingham. So East Birmingham right now feeling the impacts from this severe thunderstorm that is, it's on the upper end. You know, now what we do with severe thunderstorms, and I don't know if you have seen this, Lauren, if this is what's being classified as a destructive storm or significant storm, but I know we do have levels of severe thunderstorm warnings. But this particular one, certainly from the observations you could tell on the camera, it packed a punch here on this Sunday morning as it moved through Birmingham. Any other reports that you're getting? I know a lot of information coming in right now.
Yeah, Wes, it's just suddenly National Weather Service chat has been lighting up with reports. It looks like we're actually, I'm going to pull this up right now. It looks like we're getting reports of power outages here in the Birmingham area. You remember we were looking at that not long ago, about 20 minutes ago, and it was more so an issue in Tuscaloosa County. I'm going to see if we can get an idea of how many in Jefferson County. About 3,500 customers without power right now in Jefferson County, and I imagine as this storm continues to push eastward that we could see that number grow. This is the same storm that moved through Tuscaloosa County that we just kept saying, man, man, this is the one to watch. It's pretty gnarly. We're seeing 6,000 customers without power right now in Tuscaloosa County as well. So if you live somewhere like St. Clair County, Etowah County, Blount County, I would be mindful that this same storm that does have a history of producing damage, a severe warning storm, does have the possibility to bring power outages in your neck of the woods as well, because we've been getting reports of some downed trees and power lines as this storm moves through. I will note that the National Weather Service said this is not a situation at the moment where they're looking to pull the trigger on a tornado warning because the rotation is broad. But as I was saying, it does not have to be a tornado to cause damage. The severe thunderstorm, as it's been moving through, we've been getting reports of hail in Homewood, 5 Points, and also seeing reports of strong wind gusts as this moves through. What I will note is that as this is pushing east of Birmingham, as it's moving along I-20, notice that pink there just to the north of 459. That could indicate some more hail that is falling. I don't want you all to go outside and look at what those hail sizes are now, but possibly after the storm passes through, you can give us a better idea of those reports on social media or let our newsroom know. As far as where is this heading next? Well, some very heavy rain moving through Mountain Brook. If you're in western Birmingham, the worst of it has moved through for you, but you can see Avondale, Irondale, up towards Bel Air, getting towards Fultondale, Coalburg, over towards Trussville. Trussville, you're actually going to be next in line as this storm moves in. So the possibility of some damaging wind gusts and hail. Look at how this storm is structured. We mentioned that pink, which could be indicating some hail here, but look at how this is bowing out. If you think about how a bow and arrow is shaped, that bow, that right there is likely some strong wind gusts that are moving right along 459, getting closer to Trussville. So if you're in Trussville, first alert, that's some very strong winds and some loud booming thunder is going to be moving through. There is a lot of lightning on this storm as it's moving through, but I think the big concern is not just the lightning that could cause power outages, but if we have damaging wind gusts associated with this. We had been getting reports of damaging wind gusts possibly over 60 miles per hour in some spots, and we are watching our rotation tracker here. Just because it's popping up red doesn't necessarily mean that we've got a rotating storm where you could produce a tornado, but that rotation, there could be some broad rotation that could be causing some straight line winds, and that's what we are seeing here just to the south of Pineview, around Brentwood Hills, Hampton Place, and Hunters Hill. And that is 459, where it looks like the worst of this is packing a punch west with those strong wind gusts.
Okay, Lauren, and we're going to stay on top of this because we're getting reports here all around the Birmingham area, especially down in towards Hoover. Hoover Fire Department reports a large tree on a house at Valley Street, no injuries. Hoover Fire Department also reporting a large tree on a house at Regent Lane. Thankfully, no injuries reported there. We're seeing a tree down on Sally Springs Road in Etowah County, a tree down on Sally Springs Road. So if you are going to be traveling once these storms pass later on this morning, just be careful out there because we're seeing a lot of these reports coming in of downed trees, and want to make sure that you are extra safe out there this morning. Let these storms pass. We've got extensive power outages right now in Mountain Brook and Vestavia, and I think, Lauren, when we were looking at those camera views a few moments ago, we were seeing some of that in Vestavia. We were seeing some of the power flashes in those areas from the strong winds moving through, but several transformers have blown in that area, and that's according to Shelby County 911. But a lot of information coming in at this time. We've been seeing a lot of these small circulations, but so far, National Weather Service are saying they're going to keep this just a severe storm at the time, but you can see that this doesn't need to be a tornado to cause some problems, and that's exactly what we're getting here. We've got winds 50 plus miles per hour now, and most of this, the timing is lining up. You know, our future scan said around 12:20, and here we go. That first alert there, Trussville and Springville, these storms arriving. It's 12:25 in the morning. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, we declared a first alert weather day. Finally getting some much needed rain across the area tonight. Worst of this weather right now is along this line that we are tracking, moving through Jefferson County. This is closing in on Trussville at this time. Acton, we're starting to see the the flashes of lightning. We're starting to see the winds picking up in places like Leeds at this time as this moves on to the east direction. And I actually got a report a few moments ago, pea-sized hail and some intense lightning in Concord. But also, if we go to this view, let me just show you, this is what it's looking like in Leeds, this just in. So lightning starting to pick up there. You're going to have those strong winds like what you saw, 40, 50 miles per hour moving into that area. But there's the storms now approaching the Leeds area in Birmingham. A lot of folks up here with us tonight, and it's just amazing. All the weather watchers and the volunteer reports and times like this stay up late with us and help share this information. It's critical information, so we can see what's going on and validates, you know, some of these areas where the Weather Service, we haven't issued any warnings for tornado warnings for this storm, and mostly what we are seeing, a lot of straight line wind related reports. But Barber Motorsports Park, right there around the shops of Grand River and Leeds, these are areas where we're getting some of the strongest winds at this time. Lauren has kind of cut through the clutter. We've taken off the rate. We've taken off, you're not looking at rain, you're looking at where we have strong winds. And you can see that's at Barber Motorsports Park. And conditions from the Greyhound Raceway areas back towards Irondale, Holiday Gardens, Crestline, East Lake, the risk has ended. The strongest winds have pushed onto the east. This is around Barber Motorsports Park right now and tracking along the I-20 corridor. Looks trustful. I know we were getting some heavy rain, some intense lightning, but the stronger winds you can see down in this area. This is what we need to watch as this moves to the east direction. So tracking storms moving across the area, let's reset the stage. I want to back the view out so you can see. We've got some reports in parts of Cherokee County. We might have had some strong winds earlier, some trees down in some spots there. Areas back off to the north and east, but nothing severe at this time. But we are still under a tornado watch, folks in Anniston and in Talladega County, down into Shelby County. The strongest storm at the moment is this one that just blasted through the Birmingham area, and it's closing in now on Trussville. Some gusty winds, some heavy rainfall. When we looked at the data, some of the strongest winds were located in this southern part of this line, the southern flank between Alton and Grants Mill Road, and that's going to be tracking into Leeds. You can see the Leeds area next in line, so giving you that first alert as this moves on to the east direction. And then further south, you get in towards Oak Mountain. I know parts of Shelby County here. I want to touch on what's happening here because folks have been reporting, hey, we're getting some heavy rain, some gusty winds. What's happening out there this morning? It's non-severe. It's just below the severe level, but you're getting some heavy rain. And I know it's getting a lot of attention because we haven't had rain like this in quite some time. But finally, we are getting some much-needed rainfall, and those winds are picking up. But Oak Mountain State Park, you can see covered up with the rain at this time, the leading edge, now moving into Chelsea. Chelsea, this is a thunderstorm. We've had lightning. Actually, lightning's turned off. Let's turn the lightning counter back on, and you can see there showing over 50 strikes. So it's popping. You're going to hear some loud rumbles around Chelsea very soon. Westover, a first alert. Yellowleaf Creek Estates and areas back in towards Harpersville. This is going to be moving in your direction, but it's non-severe. Hopefully it stays that way. Some borderline storms as well for our friends in Centerville. You can see right now in Centerville, we've got some heavy rain, maybe some small hail in the Centerville area happening right now. Let's see if we can bring in some of the storm components on this. And let me update what we got. Let me update this. So there we go. We've got 40% chance that we do have some hail with this particular storm, half-inch sized. With the one that's over Bibb County. So that's a good sign. That was had to go back a scan just so I could look at some of the storm properties. But other storms down into Perry County, they've pushed through Hale County. So if you're watching me from Moundville to Greensboro, the severe weather threat has ended for you. This is all now out of Greene, out of Hale County. Severe weather threat has ended. The stable air has moved in. It's now pushing on to the east. The worst part of this line, and I'll draw it on the screen, right through Perry County, Bibb County, Shelby County now, and pushing into St. Clair County. You can see the northern end that's going to be making its way into St. Clair County. So let's go back in for what we're seeing here. Trussville if we go to our time of arrival, let's take this out to Ragland, for example. So time of arrival is 12:30 right now, close to 1:30. This is going to be impacting places like Ragland, okay? Close to 1:30, it's showing 1:25 for that arrival time. Also, if we go further north, let's do another arrival time here. Let's go to Asheville. We're looking at 1:17. Let's take this to Pell City. We're looking at an arrival time of 1 a.m. Pell City, 1 o'clock. Lincoln area, looks like 1:19 for Lincoln. And Weaver, we're still looking at close to 2 a.m., okay? Anniston, Weaver area still close to 2 a.m. on those times of arrival. Let's check out the power outage. I just got a report that we got more outages across the area, and we've got a power outage index that we can bring up and just take a look at by county. Wow, look at that number in Jefferson County. So we're now seeing over 10,000 customers without power, 16,000 customers without power in Jefferson County right now. Some significant winds have made their way through the area. And again, a lot of those reports, we were just seeing some of those reports that were coming in from Vestavia. Lauren, I'll let you grab the controls here. We'll go back to radar meteorologist Lauren Linahan with me. And Lauren's been doing an incredible job here tonight with a lot of updates on the First Alert weather app and passing along reports. We got a storm spotter out and about right now, Ryan Carty. I can actually go to his view, and Ryan he's out there in it. And Ryan, be safe if you're listening in. I know a lot of our Clear Channel stations simulcast us, and Ryan, if you're out there tonight, of course, in this weather, you'll want to be safe. And if you are going to be traveling, just know there's going to be a lot of limbs down, a lot of debris in some of the roadways out there, especially the secondary roads. You'll want to be extra cautious out there. So again, that's from Ryan Carty checking in, one of our First Alert weather watchers and an incredible storm spotter. Ryan goes all over the country spotting storms and providing all-important storm information, storm attribute information for the National Weather Service. I mentioned radio stations, and for folks in East Alabama, because this is becoming more of an East Alabama story right now as these storms press on through the Birmingham area. If you're in Jacksonville, you can hear Fox 6, you can hear our First Alert weather coverage on WJXI, WOXI. We are simulcasting at this time in the Anniston area, just to let you know for folks tuning in, but we're on Clear Channel stations all around the Birmingham area. That's our partner, the Clear Channel stations in Birmingham and the Tuscaloosa area and Gadsden as well. So right now at this hour, we have one severe storm that's been the storm of the night, and it's moving on to the east now. It's knocked out power across parts of Jefferson County. We've got trees down in areas. We've had trees down from this storm in the Hoover area. The reports coming in. At this time, we're looking at, and we had an entrapment that was reported at Regent Lane, but it looks like the tree, where we had a tree on a house, there was no injury reported according to the first responders and some of the reports that we're getting in here. Hoover Fire Department also responding to another tree on a house. So that's 3 reports I've seen with trees on homes in the Hoover area. Lauren, are you seeing something?
No.
Okay.
We're beginning to get in some video of these storms as they move through, so I'm trying to download some and get them up here so we can give you at home a visual.
Okay, so yeah, we got some reports, and Lauren's sifting through all the information, making sure we got the newest information that we're passing along. But we'll stay with you here at this early morning hour. I know it's late. It's been one of those nights, and thankfully, you know what, it's one storm, but I'm glad this is the only storm, and we don't have several storms. It was certainly a more active Saturday for states north of us. If you are just now tuning in to what's been happening with the weather today, there were actually 2 confirmed tornadoes, 2 big tornadoes, one that impacted areas from near Clarksville, Tennessee to Bowling Green, another one that impacted areas near Hendersonville, which is just north of Nashville areas, but there was extensive damage, some fatalities, a tragic day, tragic Saturday for those areas. And it was actually 1 year later from a powerful tornado moving through those areas. I believe it was 1 year or 2 years, Lauren. I've got to go back and look, but that's a very active zone, North Tennessee there, when it comes to tornadoes. And some of these storms this morning, they've shown some signs like they might be trying to rotate, and then it's mostly just straight line winds that we're seeing from these storms at this time. So let's reset the picture here. Let's reset the stage. And right now, the strongest storm at the moment is moving through eastern Jefferson County, from Pinson to Center Point, back to Irondale, and into Shelby County. That's where we got the heaviest rain, and some of the strongest winds are now pushing in around the Leeds area. Some intense lightning, heavy rain in Leeds. This is moving quickly, so just hang on. 15-20 minutes, those winds will subside, and then we will have some improving weather conditions, but that's the strongest storm. Now, I know you're probably waking up to some noisemakers further south into Shelby County. You get to Helena, points towards West Blockton, Brent, Green Pond, and back into Perry County. Non-severe, but some heavy rainfall. City of Birmingham, along the I-65 corridor north to Fultondale, Gardendale, Warrior, Hayden, Smoke Rise, Coleman. Severe threats over for us, okay? Severe threat is mainly in the far southern Blount County. It continues into St. Clair County. Aniana, I think we're in the clear. I think it's just a lot of rain for us. The worst of this at this point is south of Aniana, and this is moving in towards Springville at this time. Some heavy rainfall, but that's wrapping in now across St. Clair County. That's going to move over towards the Whitney Junction area, Margaret, Wattsville, those communities there. Coal City, as it moves to the east. There's Trustful now getting some very heavy rainfall, and we can check to see if our weather watcher Tyler Young there has a report to pass along, but I know the rain really coming down for folks and getting some loud rumbles of thunder between Trustful and Margaret at this time as this moves to the east. But just a steady rain. You can see the intensity's really backed off from Fultondale, Gardendale, Morris, and Warrior, those areas there back off to the north. So we've got fire department in Hoover responding to transformer on fire. Seen some reports like this. 58 mile per hour wind gust was reported at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. And I know a lot of times when we get into severe storms like this that are moving through the area, many times what we end up with are winds 40, 50 miles per hour. It's rare you really do see those winds 58 plus miles per hour, so that is going to bring down some trees. And what's going on here, I was just noticing in the past couple of scans, what we're getting, you see it almost looks like a comma head. This is what you really have to be suspicious of when you see a line like this when it comes to possibility of a tornado, is to see, you can kind of tell how that's wrapping in. Sometimes you can get a little vortex that develops there, so we need to watch that as it moves to the east. Hopefully it follows the trend of, Lauren just stepped back in the studio. Lauren, I was noticing, you see right there we got a little comma head. You see that? Let's check the wind velocity on this, and just do some real-time analysis. I just want to keep a watch on this. Okay, so this is ramping more back into the cooler air. It looks like the gust front's still way out here. So we're in good shape. Margaret, Parsons, Moody area, yeah, it's still intense. You see right there? Yep. That's where we got the strong winds at this time, but the winds speeds have backed off a little bit, so that's right at Moody Parkway. So Moody Parkway area, this has crossed around White's Chapel. Folks around White's Chapel, you're probably waking up to those gusty winds and heavy rainfall. This is around the Brompton exit. This is now pushing past the shops of Grand River, moving in towards Brompton and Valley Haven. If you're watching me on Moody Parkway, you're about to have some strong winds. You want to stay put if you were heading out at this hour. Hopefully, I know a lot of folks are off the roads at this time, but if you just happen to need to leave or go somewhere this morning, if you had plans, just note that you want to stay put until this passes, because we're getting a lot of reports of some strong 50 plus mile per hour winds out of this storm. So we've got dozens of, we got some homes damaged, Lauren, you seeing that? So we've got some reports coming in now with some damage in Vestavia and Mountain Brook. Shelby County 911 is getting a lot of reports right now. So we're getting a lot of reports of some damaged homes because of straight line winds and severe storms here moving through Vestavia. So those reports are coming in at this time, and of course we'll have more specifics on exactly, we get those local storm reports. We'll post those on the screen. But these storms, that's just a testament to there's some ground truth there that these storms mean business this morning that are moving through the area. And we talked about it being 70 degrees today. You just know in December it's not supposed to be 70 degrees. I think back to 2000, you know, we had the tornado in December 16, 2000. It was in the 70s, but also it was extremely windy that day. And that's the one thing, I don't think all the wind profiles are setting up as perfectly as they sometimes do on some of those red letter tornado days. And that's been the one thing about this that's helped us, I think, with respect to why we haven't seen more warnings out of this. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And another good thing out of this is look at all this rain that we have now back into West Alabama, more rain that is falling. But the tornado watch continues for Talladega County, and folks in Talladega, Calhoun County, Gadsden areas, just be on standby here. These storms are approaching, and once this passes, once this line right here passes, severe weather threat will be over. But now we're zoomed in. We're watching storms now pushing in towards Alabaster, Calera, Brent. You're waking up here to some loud rumbles, some heavy rainfall. The worst of this now pushing into Chilton County. So Jefferson next in line there for some heavy rainfall. Again, this is non-severe, what I'm watching to the south. But this is moving in towards Jefferson. You're going to probably hear some loud rumbles, maybe some pea-sized hailstones out of this as well, anywhere from Thorsby down in towards Clanton. But this is closing in on us right now. We'll keep a watch on this if it goes to that next level. Typically with the severe storm, what we look for, not only we look at velocity data, but we look, you see these cores in here. Sometimes when we start to see those reflectivities really ramp up as well, sometimes that can help distinguish, you know, the intensity of the storm that we're tracking. But let's go further north and back to the one that's produced some damage in the Birmingham area. Right in here, you can see that notch and how this is all bowing out. We're getting the strongest winds at this point, pushing through Margaret, Springville, Moody, Leeds areas. We're under a severe thunderstorm warning. There's a chance that this may be expanded perhaps to include Asheville and Raglan. I know I talked a lot about Asheville, Raglan areas. This is moving your way, so we could be under a severe thunderstorm warning soon. With something like this, you just want to make sure you're in a very sturdy structure. You're in a site-built structure preferably, but in a sturdy structure for something like this, because you have those winds that could top 50 miles per hour. And in some cases, you can have winds that can top 65 miles per hour with some of these thunderstorms. And we've had the strongest wind so far tonight reported from one of the weather instruments, a 58 mile per hour wind that was out at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. So if I call out your name here, you're in the path of this storm. You need to be in that site-built structure, sturdy structure. If you're in Shady Acres, and we have it listed for you here, you see that, Margaret, Cooper Springs, these are the first alert times, and just letting you know you're in the path of that severe storm that we've been tracking throughout the night that has moved through Jefferson County. So again, if you're in Margaret, Argo, Springville, Whitney Junction, north to Straighten Mountain, you're in the path of this and moving towards Pell City. Lauren, I'll let you take the controls because I want to, we have a camera that is located on Straight Mountain. So I want to see if I can pull that up, and we'll see what the observations and what it's looking like there as this basically wall of rain and wind approaches. But really packing a punch in the Birmingham area.
Yeah, and we continue to see reports coming in from our partners that across Vestavia Hills, Mountain Brook, Homewood, Hoover, that there have been reports of power lines, trees down, possibly some home damage. So we just hope you all are safe as these storms are coming through. I know those of you in the path of the storm as it's pushing north and eastward, you're probably wondering, is that going to happen where I am? This storm is still fairly intense, and we don't want to discount that there is a hail threat with this in addition to the damaging winds. We noted that this storm appears to be getting a little calm ahead on it, and you can see that happen with these storms sometimes as they continue to progress. You begin to get this broader circulation, and so we'll be watching this closely for more damaging winds possible as it moves towards areas like Margaret, Springville, Odenville, and we actually did just get an extension of that warning into St. Clair County. So this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 1:30 a.m. Central Time. Let me turn off the tornado watch so it's not too cluttered so you can see what's going on. We do have a lot of lightning on this thunderstorm, but I wanted to provide a view for you if you live in St. Clair County as we watch this storm moving to the north and east. Some spots that are going to be in the path of this where the potential for strong wind gusts, small hail, and heavy rain is going to be Asheville, Steele, Gadsden. You could eventually be included in this as this pushes to the northeast. Ohatchee, Raglan, Coal City, you're actually right up next, and Pell City too going to be getting in on the southern edge of this line, just right on the southern edge of that warning, Raglan and Sulphur Springs. So I've circled the cities and the towns here that are going to be under the gun here over the next 30 minutes or so for seeing the impacts from this storm that does have a history of producing damage. And we have to stress that a storm doesn't have to have a tornado warning on it for it to cause damage. That's what we've been seeing as this storm has been pushing through our area. A lot of the reports of damage are coming as this severe warned storm came through. We are actually seeing a report that the Birmingham airport measured a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust, and that does indeed verify that it was a severe thunderstorm as it came through. So if we zoom in here and get down to street level, where you're seeing the pinks, those bright pinks popping up here on radar, that could indicate not just some very heavy rainfall. Granted, some beneficial rainfall certainly needed with the drought here, but also the possibility of small hail falling in areas like Margaret, Odenville, Hardwick, Branchville, just to the south of Springville. And looking at some of the roads here that this little potential core is moving across, Mountain View Road, over towards St. Clair Springs, up towards Caldwell, as this pushes a little farther to the northeast west.
Yeah, I was going to say too, that is right around Kelly Creek Road. So around Kelly Creek Road, Lauren, and those areas to the north in St. Clair County. I was over at the school in Moody not too long ago on a weather visit, driving through just a beautiful part there of St. Clair County, and Pell City to Raglan at this hour, right there across Highway 231. We're about to have some strong winds there making its way to the north. Actually, as I mentioned a few moments ago, this is a live look. This is from Straight Mountain. My good buddy Curtis Atkinson, who really helped us out here with this school at Appalachian School, the Straight Mountain First Alert Sky Vision camera. You can see there those low clouds making their way in here across parts of Blount County. We've got, at this point, pretty good visibility, but that is going to be changing at any moment. We'll see that wind really starting to pick up, but I know it's quite ominous out there this morning. It's a severe storm. It's not a tornadic storm at this time. We're under a tornado watch, but in a lot of cases, you get a storm like this, even if it's not a tornadic storm, it ends up producing more damage than sometimes what a tornado produces, a small tornado. So I know we talk a lot about a brief tornado and a lot of these severe weather threats, especially in the colder season, but with something like this, you end up with several areas with widespread power outages, tree damage, and unfortunately, it looks like we've had some of those heavy impacts in the heart of the Birmingham area around Vestavia right now. A lot of cleanup underway, a lot of homes without power, and a lot of trees down in several areas. Just had a report in also back into West Alabama, back into Tuscaloosa earlier, a greenhouse that was damaged, but just another report there to show how powerful these straight line winds are tonight. But again, this is live, so this is a look from Straight Mountain, and we're watching these storms. Now you go further north, folks that are watching me here around Shuff Mountain and Aniana, points north to Susan Moore, the severe weather threat has ended for us. Altoona, I think the worst of this is going to stay to the south, but places from Straight Mountain and points south, that's kind of the northern edge right now where we still see that severe weather threat that's setting up. So we'll keep a watch on it, but very soon we're probably going to once again see those whiteout conditions that we were seeing with that heavy rainfall as this moved through the Birmingham area. But Raglan in line now. We're about to have some strong winds here in the Raglan area. So areas there along Highway 411, Coal City, first alert, be ready for some strong winds. We're under a severe thunderstorm warning. And Lauren, what was the end time on this?
I think it was 1:30.
So 1:30, and that's for all counties, 1:30. So St. Clair, this does include parts of Calhoun County, Jacksonville. We're just outside of the warning polygon. So the greatest concern, it looks like the Weather Service warning on that one part that we've been watching there that moved through Jefferson County, but that's now closing in. Still, Asheville, Chandler Mountain areas. A first alert for severe thunderstorm. You'll want to stay put until this passes. There's going to be some intense lightning and maybe some quarter-size hailstones with this. If you have a chance, if you have space in the carport and you parked out on the driveway, may want to pull that car in because we could have some damaging hail with this storm as it moves north as well. Again, that's for Steele, Gadsden. You know, if you're up the road from this, if you're closer to the storm, Asheville points back towards Springville. Of course, now the storm, it's there. It's too late. Just stay put and let this thing move on through. But it is moving fairly quickly. I mean, already it's raced through Birmingham. Areas south now, we're seeing it pushing through Leeds, some improving weather for us back towards Donovan. You can see now Bear Creek Road back into Shelby County, that heavier rain now pushing in on further towards the east. Harpersville, one area, west over to Harpersville. We got some heavy rain, I know, around Chelsea. We've been waking up to this, and we've been monitoring. Lauren is keeping a watch. We don't like to leave any storm unattended, but the weather to the south continues to stay just below that severe level, so that is a very good sign. Jefferson, here's one, Lauren. Let's see what some of the storm properties look like on this. Let's go in for a closer look. Take off the reflectivity. Right in there. Yeah, seeing some indications. That storm just stood out to me. Right there you can see we're getting some indications of some strong winds as well. So Chilton County, and especially around the Jefferson area, wouldn't surprise me at all if we had winds powerful enough to topple a tree. I mean, we're going to have some gusts in here, 40 miles per hour at least, as this moves in towards the Jefferson area, and we've got a good view on this. Look at that, 50 mile per hour winds being detected. Now, what we're looking at is winds that are off the ground, so closer to the ground, probably not quite as high, but it gives you a good idea that we likely have some higher wind gusts in here. We're scanning a little bit higher off the ground from the radar site, which is really just right up the road in Shelby County. So we've got a very good view, again, on this storm that's moving through parts of Chilton County. But some strong winds there crossing around Jefferson and moving to the east. And that's the storms, the leading edge, and back to Centerville, the storms have passed. So you can get some rest, go to bed, get some sleep, and just enjoy the rain, because areas back to the west, it says perfect sleeping weather tonight, and just snooze away as the low rumbles and that rain falls. It's like it's your natural sleep machine out there tonight across west Alabama now that the storms have passed. But the worst of this at this point still, this area that's in St. Clair County, that's now, it looks like it's crossed Margaret. Now it's pushing in towards Asheville and Ragland, and doesn't look quite as impressive. Actually, Lauren, the stuff we're seeing in Chilton County looked more concerning than what I'm seeing right here.
Yeah, Wes, I mean, I would say this one storm that has really packed a punch as it's been moving across our area and has been bringing those reports of damage across the Birmingham metro. We're now seeing, as we look at our rotation tracker, oftentimes when we see that red pop up, that means the winds are a little bit more potent. But even though you have that bright green here around Stewart's, Coal City, just to the south of Asheville along Highway 231, it does look like generally it's not quite as impressive as it was when it moved through areas farther to the west. So as Wes noted, it's Chilton County now that I think, even though we have that severe thunderstorm warning, that does include a lot of counties in our area. You see it's still stretching from east of Birmingham, from Trussville, Springville, Asheville, Ragland, and Gadsden. This is in effect until 1:30 Central Time. As we look down further to the south, closer to areas like Chilton County, this one little area to the south and east of Jefferson now, that's where we could be seeing the more potent winds with this particular storm that is moving through. And I'm pulling up our velocity product so we can see how intense those winds could potentially be within sight of the storm and around Jefferson. If we get an idea here, 56 mile per hour winds, and that is just about 600 feet above the surface. So if you go down a little bit farther close to the surface, possibly that could be about 45, 50 mile per hour winds, not out of the question. So if you live in Jefferson, you've got some intense winds moving through right now. But next in line would be areas along I-65, Union Grove, up towards South Calera, Wildwood Shores, Jumbo. Kind of getting east of 145, Highway 145, that's where some of these more intense winds could be moving through. But outside of the damaging wind threat that we've been seeing with these storms that unfortunately have potentially brought some damage across parts of the Birmingham metro. You've got a lot of heavy rainfall. We keep saying we desperately needed this rainfall. We need some heavy rain, but there's also some intense lightning, some strong wind gusts, so we have to watch out for that damaging wind threat as well. And we've been getting reports of small hail. Now, once these storms move through, if you can do so safely, if you have any video or pictures of the storms that have moved through your area, you can send those into us through the WBRC First Alert Weather app, or we'll try to keep an eye on social media. Obviously, we're manning the radar right here, but our news team too is also monitoring any reports you have. And also, if it's significant enough, we'll feed that information to the National Weather Service. But this is the one active warning that we have right now that is in effect until 1:30 a.m. Central Time, and just to the east of Springville, now to the west of Raglan West. That's kind of the most intense part of the storm that we're watching.
That area that you're zoomed in on there, Lauren, that is Argo, and that's where we have this report here, a report of some pea-size hail, very small, so that's a good sign. We don't have quarter-size hailstones falling right now in Argo, but this storm is being declared a severe thunderstorm as it moves to the north and east direction. Could still get some rogue wind gusts in here. There could be some parts of the storm where we do have large hail that is falling, but that report and that picture coming in from the Argo area once again, and that is near Margaret, and that was the storm is actually past there. You can see now it's now pushing on in towards Asheville at this time, but that was from Laney Kendrick, and I want to give Laney a shout out. A lot of folks up here, a lot of weather warriors this morning, sending me a lot of updates on Facebook and Twitter and social media, and that's greatly beneficial. So folks at the Weather Service just saw that. They saw we got pea-sized hailstones there falling in St. Clair County. I know they're watching us here as well this morning as Lauren and I continue. It's close to 1 o'clock. We're getting close here in the morning. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, we have opted just to stay on with this throughout the overnight, and thankfully we did, because we ended up with some intense winds and some damage in the Birmingham area. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. We're still trying to gather reports. So far what we have seen, a lot of homes where we've had trees on tops of homes in the Vestavia area and in the Hoover area where some of those rescues and some of those calls have happened. So far no injuries. I haven't seen any reports as we stay in constant communication with what's being transmitted between first responders and National Weather Service, but we certainly thank all of our first responders out there tonight braving these elements. But Shelby County 911 reporting roads blocked in Vestavia and Mountain Brook. They just have too many to list. It's nonstop calls, so their phone lines are burning up right now from all the storm reports right now. That's Vestavia and in Mountain Brook. So this morning we're going to stick around as we continue to track this troublemaker right here, this storm. It's not as intense as it looked earlier, but now it's moving into Asheville. It's pushing through Coal City. It's crossing Highway 411, Highway 231. Intense rainfall. This will soon impact Raglan, Hood, Still. I gave you that first alert around Chandler Mountain. Just be ready. You're going to have the strong winds. And folks further east, go ahead. If you haven't done so, make sure your phone, if you're laying in bed, you're watching us, and look over, make sure you got that phone on charge, okay? Just in case you lose power, because we're seeing some power outages at this time across parts of the area. We've seen over the last count, what was it, Lauren, over 10,000 customers?
Yeah, I think it was about 16,000 in Birmingham. I can actually pull that up right now.
It's probably a higher number now. It is amazing, though, sometimes, when you see, that number, it has climbed.
Hold on, let me pull
what you're looking at, you can see at the top of the screen, current power outages based on county. So this is based on county. 24,000 showing up now, 24,000 customers, 6,000 in Tuscaloosa. So we now have 24,000 customers without power in the Birmingham area at this time. And again, I know we say this often, and we say it, but it's so important to have all these different ways to get alerts. Have redundancy, have a weather app, have our Fox 6 weather app, have a NOAA weather radio, because if you're sleeping, something like this happens, and then you have a storm come along that produces a tornado, you won't get the alert unless you have that backup source and something that's charged up as well. But Birmingham, Vestavia, Hoover, all these areas where we've had the damage, the worst of this storm has passed. It has now moved on to the east. The severe threat has ended for Blount County pretty much. You can see right now around Steele, that's where we got the strongest winds and the heaviest rain at this time. So the worst of this is through Blount County, through Jefferson County, and now the leading edge is pushing out of Shelby County and into Talladega County. So we have a camera. It's actually right there at Oak Grove, Lauren, and we might be able to go ahead and have that camera next online. You know, we've got sky vision cameras all across the state of Alabama, so we can go to those, and it's like having a virtual spotter, and we're continuing to add more to our network. It's a growing network, and that's one of the big things I'm trying to do here is make sure we have a good position of eyes in the sky all around the state with all this weather that we have. But we do have one in Oak Grove, so we'll kind of get an idea of what the winds are like with this. And so far, this is staying below severe levels. That's moving through Chilton County and tracking to the east. So the only storm, it's incredible, Lauren, but it's also, it really shows what a great job the National Weather Service in Birmingham, Alabama, just a great job they do, because they've issued one severe thunderstorm warning, and that is the one storm that has produced all the damage today, that one severe thunderstorm, and it is moving, it's moved through Birmingham and now moving into East Alabama. And I call it, that is some incredible work there. And you can see all these other storms, they're staying below severe levels, but right there around Gadsden, that storm, I mean, we might have had a few other reports. I need to step back a minute. We probably had a couple of other reports in other parts of the state of trees down, and I think we had one report down in Shelby County earlier, but most of the widespread, more significant reports have come from this storm. But thankfully right now, I'm not seeing as much communication, Lauren, as I was seeing earlier. The feeds have slowed down, not as much information coming in as far as down trees in St. Clair County at this time, which I know we're getting more out into open areas, more out in the farmlands and places like that, away from the city of Birmingham. However, it does look like the storm has weakened some.
Yeah, Wes, one of our digital team members has been monitoring the Facebook Live feed, and people in Raglan, over in Trussville, Springville have been saying, man, it is loud outside, Pell City, all that heavy rain coming in. So even though possibly the worst of the storm came through the Birmingham metro, it is still likely waking you up or preventing you from going to sleep with this potent storm. So this severe thunderstorm warning is effective until 1:30 a.m. Central Time, and it's moving towards the Coosa River. The worst part of this storm right now, even though it's weakened compared to where it was when it was moving through the Birmingham metro, as it pushes to the northeast of Highway 231 right now, the most intense part of this storm is where you're seeing the pinks popping up here, where you could be seeing a hail core that could be bringing down some small hail. Wes had been showing us, we're beginning to get in some viewer content of you all showing us the hail outside of your yard. Small hail, but granted, it can still be a noisemaker along with this booming thunder. But Asheville is where you're seeing some of the heaviest rain. Raglan, a first alert for some strong wind gusts coming in, and this is pushing north and east towards areas like Gadsden, Ohatchee, Duke. So we'll be keeping an eye out on our First Alert Sky Vision network, as Wes was saying, to see if we can get even some better visuals on this. But we do want to note that as this is approaching Talladega County into northwest Talladega County, it looks like there could be some strong wind gusts just to the south and east of Cloverdale, approaching East Bend. Oh, and look at that. Man, almost like clockwork, we see a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued west. We were just zooming in on the spot where we are seeing some strong winds, and there we go. The National Weather Service has issued this new warning for the leading edge of the line. And again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, but we have seen these severe thunderstorms tonight producing damage, so you don't want to let your guard down with them. You want to pay attention. This one is in effect until 1:45 a.m. Central Time. It does include Talladega County, also Chilton County. So the worst of this is just pushing to the east of Jefferson right now and pushing across I-65, but areas like Childersburg, Sylacauga, Talladega, you're going to be in the line of fire with this storm. I've been mentioning, if you think about the orientation, the structure of a bow and arrow, what you'll notice with some of these segments along the line is they're bowing out a little bit like a bow and arrow. And so what we're seeing around Childersburg right around 231 is this bowing segment indicating we could be seeing some damaging wind gusts as this pushes across 231 to the south of Coosa Pines, also closer to Cohatchee. And as always, if I happen to be, since I've only been here about 2 years, pronouncing any of these cities wrong, y'all please let me know. It's always so helpful to learn more about the proper pronunciation of these cities. But Talladega Springs, Deans, Blue Springs, notice this very heavy rainfall and some intense lightning that is crossing over Highway 145. That is pushing east, so we want to go ahead and give you a first alert that as this comes in, you've got torrential rainfall, you've got the booming thunder, but also the potential for damaging wind gusts along the leading edge of this system. And then if we go back kind of to the southern edge of this severe thunderstorm warning, so you've got the worst of this pushing to the south and east of Jemison now around Thorsby, Jumbo, Wildwood Shores. You're going to begin to see some of those intense winds moving in. That could be on the order of about 40 miles per hour west. So we just need to keep a close eye on this little leading edge. You always want to watch for those little kinks embedded within the line, but we don't want to discount the straight line wind damage possible as this moves through.
Yeah, it really seems like it's picking up some steam there, Lauren, as it moves to the south. We're noticing those warmer temperatures. I was mentioning a few moments ago we were keeping a watch on this camera at Straight Mountain, and you can see that obviously it's just a lot of rain. The wind nowhere near as potent as some of that activity moving to the south. But I do have another view. We've got that severe thunderstorm warning that does include Talladega County. Winds gusting up to 17 miles per hour. That temperature still holding around 67. It is soupy here. It's more unstable. So there's a good chance, folks, around Sylacauga, you can see we're looking south there towards the quarry. Those winds are about to really pick up here as that line approaches. We're going to have some very heavy rain, and that's a live look we'll be monitoring from Oak Grove. And by the way, we also have Tristan is in pursuit or en route, I should say. He's headed out to Hoover, where we had some of those reports of damage. So hopefully we'll very soon, we're working hard to get you a live report here from some of the areas that have been damaged in the Birmingham area. So just stay tuned for that. That's coming up right here. Again, it's just after 1 o'clock, 1:07 in the morning. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. You're watching WBRC Fox 6 News, or Fox 6. And we started out early this evening. Lauren has been with you since sunset with these top and bottom of the hour updates. We've had a tornado watch. We haven't had one single tornado warning, thankfully, but we have had severe thunderstorm warnings, and they have been quite intense. We've had some debris, some damage that has been reported in parts of Jefferson County that we're following up on right now, but we also have some new severe thunderstorm warnings. We're seeing some more active weather now in areas south of I-20. But let's get to this. Let's go first off. We're starting out. This is Sylacauga, Childersburg, Coosa County. Severe thunderstorm warning for damaging straight line winds. Alpine, Winterboro areas, Sycamore, you're included in this. Talladega, you're included. And now Lincoln. Let's get into Pell City and Lincoln because also these areas being impacted. Pell City, Cropwell, the heaviest of the rain is now pushing through Pell City. So very soon the severe weather threat will be ending. In fact, you look back, Lauren, pull up the radar. You look back towards the Chula Vista exit in Odenville, you can see that the heaviest of the rain has passed. So that severe weather threat coming to an end for us, but the severe weather threat continuing, and those strongest winds are going to be right around Logan Martin Lake. I mean, Logan Martin, and especially across the lake, a lot of times you'll see those winds enhance because you don't have the friction and those wind speeds really pick up. So really, you get in towards Lincoln and on the eastern shore, the way this is coming in, you'll really start to feel those strong wind gusts there very soon, if you haven't already, around Lincoln and areas to the north. But this is State Highway 77 right here. The Talladega Super Speedways, well, there it is right there. You can see the Super Speedway. So where is this with respect to the Talladega Super Speedway? It's now between Logan Martin and the Raceway, and it's moving to the east. All these areas in here within the next 15 to 20 minutes from Lincoln back into Old East Aboga, you can expect some big impacts with heavy rainfall, intense lightning, and also some very strong wind gusts. Let's follow further north where there's Sulphur Springs and Boiling Springs, and when you see something like this, that's telling me that out ahead of the line we got a strong south wind. It's sending some of these little ripples there north along the line. That's what's showing up there. You see a little bit of that precipitation, but we also have, this is that part that moved through Jefferson County that's to the north where we could have some strong winds now. Let's see those purples in there showing up. That is some heavy to extreme rainfall rates that are falling right now right around Raglan. You get back in towards Neely, Henry, 10 Islands, be ready. First alert for some heavy rainfall, some strong straight line winds about to move through that area here over the next 15 minutes and about to cross Highway 77. There's Ohatchee, and let's go even further north. Let's get into Gadsden, Gadsden area. We're watching this for you. Right now it's close to the leading edge near the airport, but this is very close here to crossing Gadsden. So Attala, Gadsden, we're also in that severe thunderstorm, parts of Gadsden in the severe thunderstorm warning. Morgan's Crossroads, Attala, we're in that warning. Here's Walnut Grove back in here. I mentioned earlier places like Altoona, that's on towards the west there. Aniana, again, you're north of all this and back to the west. This is now past. This is moving now into Etowah County, Chandler Mountain areas, and again around Steele and Hood. If you're in those locations, you need to be in a sturdy shelter, and hopefully you are at this time, but some people have to travel early. I know that, and just wait until this passes. Let this pass on by. It is a severe thunderstorm, and for folks that also are traveling in areas where the storm threat has passed, just be extra careful out there as we get closer to church time later this morning as well. Back roads, secondary roads, there's going to be some large limbs, tree limbs down. It has been a while. We've had systems move through during the drought or towards the end of the drought, but we haven't had winds like this with some of these storms, and that's why in the morning there are going to be a lot of limbs down, a lot of leaves, trees, and a lot of areas where we've had these severe thunderstorms, so just be extra cautious. You don't want to take a blind curve and then all of a sudden there's a tree in the road. Just make sure, especially the back roads and the secondary roads, be extra careful this morning. A lot of rain, a lot of wind still out there. One good thing, Lauren is bringing up the rotation tracker, so things seem to be behaving to the south. You can see that weak rotation showing up along the Coosa River areas north. It's not the strong evidence that we were seeing, but a lot of what we're seeing with this particular product, it is looking at different wind shear properties. So a lot of what we're seeing, even though in some cases it might show strong rotation, it's strong straight line winds that we're seeing with some of this data here that's moving through the area. And that's what's happening right now with all these areas of green. This isn't representing rain. What you're looking at is where we have the strongest winds right now impacting parts of St. Clair County. And here's another wind-related product, the velocity product. That's what Lauren is showing there. So we have all these different products from Lincoln to Macon, and you could see the data is telling us that just off the ground, you go higher up in the atmosphere, we're seeing possibility of 30 to 50 mile per hour winds happening. So there's definitely going to be some gusty winds. They're closer to the surface. And let's take a look at so we got some more reports coming in. Looks like tree in the road, and seeing it, this was a report from Center, a couple of reports from Center. That's in Cherokee County. We got a storm damage call, tree in the road, looks like a tree on the house with some roof damage. And Lauren, that was from that earlier storm that moved through, but that was back in here around Center. And sometimes what I've seen so many times here in Alabama, when you get storms like this that start moving into East Alabama, and especially around Gadsden, Center, Blount County, you start getting into the higher elevations, and you get some of those stronger winds and some of the higher terrain. You're not as close to the surface, so I've seen that a lot of times as well in some of these areas, and we might have had some of those wind speeds enhanced, perhaps even orographically there as they moved into parts of Cherokee County. But at this stage, the severe risk has ended for Hoover, most of Shelby County. Still, if you're watching around the actual community of Shelby, Lay Lake, Shelby, and places places like Wilsonville and Columbiana, you're right there on the back edge of the severe storm that's about to cross out of Shelby County. So once this moves out, we can give the all clear for Shelby County. I can give the all clear for Bibb County. The worst of this has passed on through. I think, Lauren, it looks like on the map we still have the tornado watch, but I'm sure that will be dropped here very soon. As you can tell, that line has pushed on through. Now it's mainly from Clanton to Sylacauga, Talladega, Anniston, and these areas to the north, Gadsden now along the leading edge of that line. So very soon, hopefully, Jefferson County as well. And you can look at the temperature outside here on Red Mountain. The temperatures, it's much cooler at this time, so the temperatures are on the fall, and Lauren's plotting right now. You see these greens starting to move in. That's a colder air. And listen, I know it was in the 70s on Saturday in a lot of areas, but during the day Sunday, I mean, we're still expecting temperatures to fall during the day. We'll probably have some 40s as we go into the afternoon, so it's going to feel a lot colder. But see, we go from 58 to 66. So I'd say, yeah, we're going. Temperatures are on the fall with the stable air starting to take over here in the Birmingham area. Look at over towards Guin and parts of Lamar County, already down to 53 degrees. There will be some 40s on the map by sunrise, especially over in Mississippi. So we did find one. There we go, right there, 49. So the colder air, here it comes. It is the time of year. You know, you go up to 70. One day, and then the next day those temperatures fall into the 40s and 50s, and I always, when someone tries to tell me, they say, you folks in Alabama, when it comes to, y'all don't know what cold weather's all about. Well, let me tell you, when you're at 70 at one day and then you're at 49 the next day, that's tough to get acclimated to. I mean, that's the thing about around here, it's always back and forth, right? So yeah, we got the colder air that's moving in, but back to what we're tracking right now with this, a lot of rain. I'm sorry, I've just had another report coming in. A lot of rain and a lot of wind with this making its way east. Talladega County, also into Coosa County right now. Severe thunderstorm warnings. Gadsden to Jacksonville. We're standing by here because we're trying to get we're trying to get a report in from Hoover just to kind of get a better understanding of what's happening out there. We've seen a lot of these reports coming in online, and I know a lot of folks ask us questions, Lauren, on social media, but we're on TV right now. Yeah. And I promise you, if you ever are asking us questions or asking for information on social media, we are here, and when you get a response, it is coming from us. I can promise you that. So let's go back to meteorologist Lauren Linahan here. And Lauren, I am going to check and see where we are with that, because very soon once this line passes, we're going to keep a watch on this. A lot of folks are listening, by the way, WJXI, WOXI in Anniston and Jacksonville, Coldwater Mountain, and those areas there in Calhoun County. We are broadcasting all across Calhoun County right now on the radio, simulcasting for folks listening in. That's your source in the Anniston area to pick us up. If you have a radio in your safe place, right now we are simulcasting, and we're going to stay on this until this gets through Anniston, okay? We're going to track that because we are under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, and we are going to stay on top of this. But Lauren, I want to throw it back over to you and check on some other things here, but it looks like now all of West Alabama, we can certainly say that threat has ended.
Yeah, so if you're in West Alabama, we can breathe that sigh of relief. You can really just see here as we look at the big picture here in our neck of the woods in north and central Alabama. Even though we're seeing some rain here still along I-65 from up towards Winston County, Coleman County, down towards Walker, Jefferson, even eastern Tuscaloosa County, the issue is right here. And we actually have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. Wes was mentioning, as these storms get into the higher terrain in northeast Alabama, you can begin to see them ramp up a little bit, just interacting with that terrain. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Cleburne County until 2 a.m. Central Time. And so this is accounting for this storm that is moving across the Coosa River right now. Notice the pink showing up. That is indicating the possibility of some hail falling. But as we've also been seeing this storm, it's been bowing out. It's been bringing some issues. Of course, when it came through, this is that same severe storm that moved through the Birmingham metro that has been bringing plenty of downed trees across the area. So now this is moving towards areas like Cleburne County, getting closer towards Jacksonville State Center. I'll put a first alert time on this. This is the particular batch of the storm that is moving through Ohatchee and is pushing to the east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So we'll give those first alert times. Pilgrim's Rest arriving at 1:30, getting to Oak Level at 1:31, Colwell 1:34, and Duke around 1:34 a.m. So this is early Sunday morning. We're now past midnight into the 1 o'clock hour. If you're waking up in East Alabama, you're hearing some booming thunders. We're not having anything. We have not had a tornado warning issued, but we have had some severe thunderstorm warnings issued, and it's all been from really this same batch that has been moving across our area that has been bringing some reports of damage across the Birmingham metro. But the main issue with this line right here, we don't want to discount that severe thunderstorms can cause damage as well. So these storms have been producing some small hail, some damaging wind gusts as they've been moving through, and we're still seeing on First Alert AccuTrack these storms producing plenty of lightning, over 70 lightning strikes as this storm pushes through areas like Ohatchee, approaching Gadsden now. And Gadsden, you're about to see the worst of this storm that is moving through with some torrential rainfall. We need the rainfall. We just don't want the severe threat associated with it. But I would not want to be out driving in this. I'm actually seeing a report from our digital team. We have reporter Tristan Rupert out in the field right now trying to assess the damage in Hoover. And it looks like along I-65 southbound near Hoover, there's been a wreck with multiple officers and an ambulance is on the scene there. So we're going to keep you updated as we can as we learn more about this situation. So if you have a situation where you have straight line winds moving through an area, they can down trees and power lines. And if you're out on the roads, obviously that can cause problems, and you've got torrential rainfall falling at night certainly can make for some hazardous travel. So just be careful if you have to be out on the roads right now. The good news, if you're in St. Clair County, that warning is continuing to be trimmed away, but still the leading edge of this line as it moves into East Alabama. We want to keep an eye on it. It does look like around Coosa County and Chilton County, the southern edge of that warning has also been cleared, but Talladega County, Cleburne County, Cherokee County, over into Etowah County still want to watch this storm closely for the potential for some damaging wind gusts like straight line winds or the possibility of some small hail and some very heavy rain. I want to go ahead and check too on the power outages. We are watching that as we keep getting in reports of trees down in the Birmingham metro area. We want to see if anyone else as well is having issues with the power outages. So let me pull that up right here. Got to clear some stuff away.
And Lauren, as you do that, as you pull that up, if you're listening in the control room, let's go ahead. Let's take this full screen, Hutch, and I just want to bring in some of our live views if we can back in the control room. There we go. If we can. Well, actually, I believe we're on the scene there. One of those reports. Let's go back to the weather wall if we can. Back to the weather graphics. I've got the camera pulled up. You can see there we're efforting getting some reports in right now. We have Tristan. Now, of course, the severe weather has passed. He is safe right now. But Lauren, go ahead. I just wanted to show we've got a live look here as this severe storm. It's now approaching Oak Grove. Let's keep the camera up. Let's keep the camera up. Lauren's going to kind of talk over this, and yeah. So looks like we got a tree.
Yeah, so I think that is Tristan Rupert. He should be, I think he's on the scene right now in Hoover. And it looks, according to him, what I'm getting in from text message here, there are trees down all across Hoover. And so that's causing some problems, causing some road blockages here. And of course, it's dark outside. It's hard to see. I'm sure once the sun comes up, first responders will have a better idea. But yes, we can see trees down. We've been getting reports of trees down on houses, and looks like there's a car not far from where that tree is, but still some rain coming down in Hoover. If you are in Hoover and seeing this, you're just waking up, you're like, what's going on? The severe threat is over for Hoover, but now we've got a reporter on the scene helping to assess the damage and kind of our eyes out there, Wes. Yeah, and let's go back. I've got a live camera pulled up right now. If we can go back to the, if you guys are listening in the back,
let's try to take the radar full screen if we can do that. And we got some of the cameras that we want to go to. Not this view, but let's go to the other. Let's go to the weather.
First alert sky vision.
Yeah, and look at that. I mean, a lot of trees that are toppled there, and looks like we're having trouble bringing up the weather wall, but we'll try to bring that up here very soon. But I'll just step over here, Lauren, and just bring. I wanted to bring the camera up so you could see the lightning, and for folks there that are watching in Talladega County, I mean, we are dealing with some intense lightning right now around parts like places like Sylacauga as these storms move in, and you can see behind you there. I've got it pulled up. First off, there's Jacksonville right now as those storms move in. There's around the Jacksonville area, and Lauren, I'll just let you kind of jump in here, but we don't want to lose sight of these storms. I know we have a lot of reports coming in, but I don't want to leave this. I want to stay on these storms that are moving through Calhoun County, because this is still that storm that produced damage in Jefferson County that's now approaching us here around Jacksonville. And JSU, thankfully at this hour, hopefully everyone is indoors in a safe shelter. The southern extent of this line, this is what it looks like right now in Talladega County. As those storms approach, you can see now crossing Highway 280, the lightning picking up, still showing 67 degrees here. So the air, in my opinion, is still unstable, and we need to monitor these areas as well. But again, that's down in Talladega County, and again, we're going to be watching JSU. Let's go back to radar, and let's get in for a close look here at this severe thunderstorm. It's now crossing around Knighton's Crossroads and moving in the south side, Coosa River, Duke, Jacksonville. You are in the new severe thunderstorm warning. There's Ball Flat, Center, places like Piedmont, right in this location. Piedmont, you are probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes before that line is going to reach you there. But you will have the possibility of some winds over 50 miles per hour as this moves in. Some heavy rainfall, some intense lightning. Gadsden, you can see back to Duke and Ohatchee. You are right now being impacted. Once this passes, the threat will be ending. What are we talking about here? Well, so far, I know we're under a tornado watch. It's mostly been severe thunderstorm warnings that we've been dealing with here so far this morning. Severe thunderstorm warnings. We haven't seen a tornado warning out of this, but what Lauren is highlighting is you can see the possibility of some damaging winds over 50 miles per hour. So the best word of advice is just stay put, preferably a site-built structure because of the possibility of those strong winds, but a sturdy structure. Just be in a sturdy structure, and this will pass on by. We're not seeing a tornado at this time, and I highly doubt we will, because so far tonight, Lauren, we have seen with all these storms, even the ones that seem like we're about to have a warning, didn't happen. But that said, even though this is not a tornado warning, just know that you're about to encounter some rough weather. It's going to get rough. You're going to have some strong winds. You're going to have some intense lightning, some loud rumbles, but just hang in there. Don't worry. It's going to pass on through fairly quickly. It will be a fast-moving system, but you start to hear the wind picking up and those loud rumbles around, if you're watching from Blue Mountain, Anniston, Weaver, Jacksonville, Crystal Springs area. Now it looks like the stronger winds have pushed through Ohatchee. Hopefully it wasn't too bad there as it moved through those areas, but this is what we're concerned about. This one little core of stronger winds right now that's making its way closer and closer to Jacksonville, Alabama. There's Weaver and also the Maxwell-Bourne areas. All these locations along Highway 21 to the north, you will be impacted by some heavy rain and also the possibility of a severe thunderstorm. Anniston, the downtown area, we're in the southern part of this, and that extends back in towards Coldwater Mountain. So for folks listening in on the radio, I mentioned a few moments ago WJXI, WOXI, where we're simulcasting here in Calhoun County. The main impact for us, a lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of rumbles, and we could have some trees down in some spots once this moves on through. So be ready for some gusty winds, and now the warnings have been expanded to include Talladega County. So this is close to moving out of our area, but right now it's still in a lot of our communities here right now. Jacksonville, Center once again, and we've had some reports already of some trees that have been toppled here in Cherokee County, but Center once again, we will be impacted by another round of strong winds. But behind this line, I can give the all clear if you're around Logan Martin, Pell City, back to Leeds here in St. Clair County. That warning has expired. The severe thunderstorm warning has expired. Shelby County, we're in the clear. Actually, the only area where we're worried about severe weather is the far eastern part of our coverage area right now. The far east and southeast part of our coverage area. Let me go back to that view, Lauren. I want to just check out what we're seeing here now in Jacksonville. And this is from the E911 tower in Jacksonville. We actually have a view from Chimney Peak, and we also have a view from Coldwater Mountain that we could go to here as well. But you can see just to the north of campus, you can see back in there towards the north and west direction, the lightning is starting to pick up here right now as we look live from JSU as the storms approach here in East Alabama. And a few moments ago, we were looking at another view. This is Oak Grove, and right now, and actually the mayor of Oak Grove gave me a report a few moments ago. Mayor Tony Wyatt said having heavy rain and some gusty winds, and you can see nothing like, as far as you can just look visibility wise, it's nothing like what we were seeing around Lakeshore Parkway earlier this evening as those storms moved on through. So 67 degrees, and we've got winds gusting up to 19 miles per hour. And if you're just now joining us earlier this morning, was it before midnight? Sometimes when we're doing these wall-to-wall or covering severe weather, it goes past midnight. I think it was just before midnight when that storm, Lauren, made its way through Birmingham, and we were here on Red Mountain. And we had some large hail that was falling here at the station. You could really hear it outside as we had that wind coming at us from the north direction. But this is a live look from Oxford right now. This is from Coldwater Mountain. So we're looking back towards the city of Oxford here at night. You can see the camera there. It's whipping. Look at those clouds coming by, those clouds rolling by. Yeah, we're going to be dealing with some strong winds here, especially at these higher elevations. Probably going to get some gusts over 40, 50 miles per hour now. We're located, this is just north of Mount Cheaha, of course, the highest point in the state of Alabama. We're just north of there, but anywhere pretty much Mount Cheaha points northward. The Delta area, you get down into parts of St. Clair County, we're going to be dealing with some strong wind gusts, but it's almost like looks like we're trying to take off in an airplane here, Lauren, with this camera view from Coldwater Mountain. But yeah, windy conditions about to ensue across parts of that area, and looks like we lost one of the views, as you can see. Let's go back to still steady rain falling right now, so the camera's still with us. Lightning didn't hurt us here in Gardendale at Adair Tire. We still got a view and the rain coming down, and yeah, some folks still out there. Just again, be careful tonight if you're going to be out in traveling western Jefferson County, parts of Jefferson County especially. That's where we've had a lot of reports, but just a lot of rain happening at this time. So here's what we have. Still a couple of warnings. East Alabama, right now it's Calhoun County, eastern Etowah County, southern Cherokee County, Talladega County severe thunderstorm warning, all the way to Sylacauga. Looks like the one that was down, I thought at one point parts of Coosa County was included, but that has been dropped. Looks like, yeah, the core of that storm has actually lifted in. Right now, it looks like it's right around Sycamore. Lauren, let's get in for a close-up on both of these areas. We'll start again. Let's go to Jacksonville. Let's get in here to this one storm. It's that same one. Still looks kind of suspicious here. We've got the heavy rainfall, likely some small hail. Again, that's crossing at Highway 431. Where is this going? Well, the storm right now is in Calhoun County, moving towards Jacksonville, Piedmont, also lifting in towards Ball Flat, Hoax Bluff areas. So anywhere from Glencoe south to Blue Mountain, we got some heavy rain. We got some gusty winds right now pushing into this part of the county, but this is moving towards Jacksonville, Allsop, Ball Flat. What can you expect? Well, you're going to expect some gusty straight line winds, most likely 40 to 50 mile per hour, but there could be some rogue wind gusts. We had one report at the Birmingham airport, 58 miles per hour, so we could see something like that or greater. And possibly some nickel to quarter size hailstones with that storm. That's what you can expect. You're looking at about a 20 to 30 minute impact time, and then it's over. Okay, so it's going to blast through here over the next 30 minutes. By 2 a.m. we should have most of this through Calhoun County. But as we go further south, we have more indications. Of course, we're looking higher up in the atmosphere when we show you this, but you can see it's showing 83 mile per hour wind. Meteorologist Linahan bringing up some of the velocity products that we have here on First Alert AccuTrack, and we're zoomed in over Talladega County, the area where we were monitoring the storm that was moving near Sylacauga, which on the camera view you could tell that it didn't look quite as intense as what we were seeing earlier, but this is north of there. This is north of Sycamore. This is now lifting in towards Waldo. So if you are between Talladega, Waldo, and Chandler Springs, if you're in those areas along Highway 77, these stronger winds, there's another area that Lauren has locked in on right there. You can clearly see it on the radar data, and that's about to cross Highway 77. That is the most intense part of this storm that we see right now, is what you're looking at right there. That's where we likely have some winds that could be topping 50 miles per hour. Let's see what the triple threat looks like on this. And okay, so we're still seeing indications of some small hail, but we take the rainfall off and we look at where we have the most volatile winds with this. And even though these winds are more straight line, they're going to be right in this area here around Smelly and moving towards Highway 77. So you can see they're tracking towards Waldo and Alabama Highway 77. Lauren, any communication? What's the Weather Service? What are they thinking about this storm here?
Keeping an eye on it. We'll pull the trigger if necessary, but it's not enough now for them to issue anything in the way of a tornado warning. But you can see this live look behind me of Oak Grove and Talladega County. So this is the one spot we're watching where the storm looks a little bit more intense. But as of right now, just to the south of Smelly, kind of on the southern edge of this severe thunderstorm warning, to the south and west of Waldo as this is approaching Highway 77. This is where you could have some intense winds that are pushing to the north and east. So just keeping a close eye on that. That's kind of on the eastern edge of this warning polygon that's in Talladega County, just to the south of Talladega. I will say, we're going to step away from this for just a second. If we zoom out and look at the big picture here, I want to bring back up the view of the tornado watch, and what you will notice is that some counties have been cleared now. So if you're watching, yes, it's slowly but surely happening. Jefferson County, Shelby County, Bibb County, down into areas to the I-2059 corridor. We're still seeing those areas being cleared away as well. So that includes Sumter, Greene, and Hale County, but more counties being cleared, even up towards areas like I'm just blinking right now, towards St. Clair County, still seeing that potential for a brief weak system, but I think the worst of it now, even if you're in St. Clair County, the worst of it has now moved through and you're seeing that, but Blount County now cleared from the watch as well. So slowly that threat is pushing farther to the south and east, but that's where the tornado warning is, the tornado watch is right now, but we're watching these two severe thunderstorms closely as they move through East Alabama for that potential for some damaging wind gusts, small hail, and of course just keeping our eyes peeled for what could be a brief weak tornado. Fortunately, haven't seen that manifest tonight, but we still have to get through East Alabama. We don't want to discount that there is still a low end severe threat in East Alabama as well. As Wes was saying, what you can sometimes see with these systems as they move into areas east, you've got higher elevations here. And so as that moves in, you can begin to see it interact with that higher terrain. And so really the one spot you just kind of want to watch along this line. Yeah, that one little appendage. See right around Waldo that we're watching. See how it's almost like you're seeing that little thing right there. It looks like what we call an inflow notch, and so this could be indicating that some of that warm humid air that hasn't been tapped in yet in East Alabama is beginning to try to wrap and be ingested into this storm.
Yeah, Lauren, I was just going to say, you know, when you get these lines like this that move through the area, what ends up happening is you got winds out of the south right out ahead of that line, and you get those gusty winds, and you got winds moving from the south. You got winds that are coming in from the west direction like this, and then moving from the south. You end up with some twisting that happens. You end up with these little areas of rotation that happen. Do we have Tristan live? I saw we were setting up there, and by the way, these are some of the a lot of photos. This is Damon Murray sharing some of these pictures coming in right now. Some intense lightning happening there. I'm trying to find the location on this. This is all content coming in right now on the First Alert weather app. So if you send some information, we have a new platform for this, so you can see it populate here on television as that information comes in, so you can share those pictures and reports out there tonight. Carrie Nevins from WBRC out at Bluff Park was sharing some video after the storm had passed. We had some small hail in Hueytown. That was from Shelby sharing that. Mean, scary-looking cloud this evening from Emma. A lot of photos coming in. That was a mesocyclone from earlier, a storm that was out over Faulkner, Mississippi. But you guys listening in the back, let's go back to Tristan if we can. And we're going to stay on this. Lauren, let's go back to a lot of folks listening to us right now. We're simulcasting on the radio in Calhoun County, so I want to get in on that storm that's making its way through the Jacksonville area. I know we had that live view a few moments ago that we were checking out. There we go. There's JSU right now from the 911 tower. And that storm, it is getting very, very close now, moving into Jacksonville, and some indicators right there. You see that dark color, that's telling me that we do have some large hail associated with this storm. That is right around the Union and Angel area. That is moving towards Jacksonville, the Knightons Crossroads area. We've all been impacted here. Let me see, we've got also Highway 278 and points south pretty much that's dealing with possibility now of hailstones over quarter size that's moving through parts of Calhoun County. So that's the kind of report that we're getting in right now. Can we go to that live report that we had from Tristan? Just let me know whenever you're ready and we can go to that. But let's go back to the south. There's a look at, again, south of Lincoln. You can see around Waldo, severe thunderstorms. Let's go ahead.
This has been a WBRC Fox 6 Weather First Alert.
We're out here on Hackberry Lane, just outside of Hoover. Take a look behind me. We got some trees down on some power lines. Just up the road off a street called Regent, there was supposed to be somebody that was trapped. I've been told by somebody that was in the area that person supposedly got out. But this is not the only sign or really I guess, example of Mother Nature's power that's on display here. Just about a half mile back up the road, more trees, this time on the other side of the road. It seems like Hoover Fire has already been out. They've marked some of the really troublesome areas with some caution tape. But again, like y'all have seen and like y'all have tried to stress to our viewers over the last few hours, the examples of this storm are really scattered all about. Even driving here, I saw y'all pulled up that picture I sent y'all from I-65. It looked like an accident of sorts, and really a large light beam laid across the road. So a number of examples from the severity of this storm that's rolled through here. I'm going to try and survey the rest of the area. If y'all see a trouble spot, again, reach out to us on air, online. We'll go check it out, kind of try and give everybody a glimpse of the power of Mother Nature, what's going on here in this late hour. Wes, do you have any questions for me, my friend?
Just if you can, Tristan, just tell us once again, we kind of, right off the top there, really didn't catch where you are right now. What road?
Hackberry Lane. It's just off or outside of Hoover. I saw the Hoover Fire Department actually leave here about 30 to 40 minutes ago at this point. We got some incredible scenes of them doing their job, doing their task, trying to clear off some of the roads, which they can do best. But right now, they've got this tree scattered over about 7 or 8 power lines. There's nothing they're going to be able to do here. Again, this is Hackberry Lane in Hoover. Let me see if I can give you a little bit closer, a better look at where we're at. Again, we're just, I'd say, not even a few hundred feet from Apple Tree Lane, Blue Ridge Boulevard, really just off 65. I did not have to go far once I got off 65. But again, a number of examples. There's no light in this area. Power crews are going to have to come out at some point these next few hours to try and see what's what, see what they can do to clear this up as soon as possible.
So Tristan, on your way to Hackberry Lane, we saw some of those stronger winds that made their way through across a Lakeshore Parkway. When you crossed Green Springs and those areas right there around Oxmoor, did you notice any power outages in those areas as those strong winds had moved through? I know that's not too far from Sanford in those areas.
I didn't notice any power outages, Wes. I did see a lot of puddling on roads. That's one thing we do really need to stress to our viewers. You need to be safe when driving. I've got a car actually figuring out that this road's blocked right now. But again, this is a dangerous time to be out on the roadways. A lot of puddles, and you can really come up on debris very quickly. It happened to me once or twice on my way over here. So again, the roads are not in safe conditions right now. I'm assuming a lot of those puddles are starting to recede a little bit now that it's lightened up here within the last 15 to 20 minutes. But again, some dangerous conditions out on the roadway. I did not notice power outages until I got off 65 in this area, and then they became quite clear.
Okay, Tristan, and we've been hearing a lot of reports. Vestavia from Brookwood Hospital, that's where we had our camera earlier, and it was just complete white-out conditions. Folks watched along with us here on WBRC as that storm moved through Jefferson County. You stay safe out there. If you have any additional reports, we're right here. We will go to you. I want to get back to the radar view right now because we still have a severe thunderstorm that's making its way through Calhoun County at this time. So we'll go back to radar and we'll continue track a severe thunderstorm now that's moving across Jacksonville, the Anniston area, pushing towards White Plains. If you are watching there around White Plains, you're next in line. White Plains to Piedmont, Nancy's Creek, those areas, you will be impacted by some strong straight line winds. Let's go into Coldwater Mountain in East Aboga. I want to get in here really close to Anniston. A lot of folks are again listening to us here simulcast, maybe without power as we get some of these gusty winds pushing through. But from Weaver to Anniston along Highway 431, we're under the severe thunderstorm warning. But Oxford, we're just kind of in the middle here. The Weather Service, they've opted to issue the warning north of us in Oxford and south of us. So we're seeing basically a couple of cores along this line. The one that caused all the problem earlier in Jefferson County and across the state, that one's now lifting to the north, and then another that's to the south now pushing from Talladega County through Chandler Springs and down into Clay County. But we have watched this cross the area, and Lauren, the warning has expired. The warning has expired. Yeah, I was just noticing that, and even though that thing, it looked quite impressive a couple of scans ago, it has expired, but still some intense rainfall, some strong winds that we'll be tracking there in areas back off to the northeast. Tristan joined us a few moments ago. He was live in the Birmingham area at Hackberry Lane, and to just kind of give you an idea of where that location is, when you're on I-65 and you cross Highway 31 there from Hoover to Vestavia. When you cross Highway 31 and start to go up Shades Mountain, this would be just off of Interstate 65, right in that general vicinity. That's where we saw some of those strong winds. And a lot of times, I mentioned terrain, Lauren, we talked about this, over Shades Mountain likely had some of those winds enhanced that we saw on that camera view from Brookwood Baptist Medical Center. It was just intense there as those storms moved through the Birmingham area. But now we're seeing most of this in the far eastern part of the coverage area. So if you are in Birmingham at this point, the severe threat has ended. If you're in Etowah County, the severe weather threat has ended for us. This is primarily a Jacksonville east threat right now, and same for us around Anniston back to White Plains. Those areas will be impacted. But Sachs, Weaver, some locations, I've heard, got a lot of viewers out there, Lauren, that reach out all the time because that seems to be the one area where I always hear we can't get any rainfall. But I think tonight you're going to get some rain. You're getting it right now, and we have some wet weather here for our friends in Weaver, and that's moving through. I know it's a severe thunderstorm, but at least on the bright side of things, we are going to get some much needed rain as this makes its way through the area. But closing in on 2 a.m., and Lauren, I'll let you jump in. We were talking about this threat. Our model guidance said it would be about 2 a.m. when we saw the actual severe threat coming to an end, and it looks like it's going to be close here. It's 1:47, and this is about to cross out of the area. The only severe thunderstorm warning we have left that includes parts of Calhoun and Cherokee counties.
Yeah, Wes, you know, we've been saying here that this severe threat would be over with by sunrise, and I think that's very well going to be the case, likely a few hours before sunrise as we forecasted. So looking at that severe thunderstorm warning, this is the only active one we have in place, and it is in East Alabama. It stretches from Center down towards Jacksonville and Anniston, just included in the southwestern edge of that. So this particular cell that we're watching is pushing to the northeast northeast, and it's going to be moving towards Highway 278, getting closer to the Alabama-Georgia state line as it pushes farther to the northeast, but still plenty of lightning on this storm. This is the one active warning we have in our area, though, in effect till 2 a.m. So as Wes was saying, we got about 10 minutes left on that storm. Now, the storm that we were watching that was moving through Talladega County and now into parts of Coosa County, this storm, it does not have a severe thunderstorm warning on it anymore, but we do want to note, you see that pink popping up there, that is indicating some very heavy rain that is falling as it pushes northeast towards areas like Kentuck, over towards Able, Belltown, Heflin, Chocolaca. If you all recall, when I first started here, I did not pronounce that correctly, and you guys all helped me learn how to pronounce that, so thank you. So Chocolaca, you are actually in the line just to the south of that severe thunderstorm warning, but I still think you're going to be getting some heavy rain. As Wes was noting, we kind of had this little area here just to the south of the severe thunderstorm warning and just to the north of the severe thunderstorm warning that was farther to the south in Talladega County, that there's no active warning, but along that 431 I-20 corridor, you still want to be mindful that there's going to be some heavy rain with some intense lightning that is moving through, and there has been some gusty winds on these as well. Now, if we back out the view, there's still some heavy rain that is falling. We mentioned that even after the leading edge of these storms come through, even after that severe threat is over, still going to be the possibility of some rain. And we need the rainfall, but as this rain is coming in, you've also got that colder air that is coming in behind the front. So if we look areas farther to the south and west towards Sumter, Greene, and Hale County, I do want you to note there's some heavier rain moving in there. So that's something we're still going to be dealing with. There are still some thunderstorms as well farther to the south. The farther south you go outside of our area, but notice as we're zooming in here to this corridor along I-20 stretching from Cuba up towards Bolagie, Utah, where we see that very heavy rain falling. Notice our lightning tracker is not picking up on much. In East Alabama, we've been having well over 100 strikes with some of these storms, but this particular area right here in parts of Greene, Sumter, Hale County, just mainly heavy rain that is going to be falling. They are heavy rainfall rates, so this isn't something you'd want to be out in. Tristan was noting as he was moving through Jefferson and Shelby County getting towards Hoover, right along the line there, that there were a lot of trees on the roads, possibly an accident as well on 65. So even once this severe threat is over, there's going to be some waterlogged roads from the rain that has moved through. So definitely be careful if you have to get out early. Also looking at, we had just been seeing that the tornado watch had been canceled for Blount County, but still up in Coleman County, Blount County, we are still seeing some very heavy rain that is falling. Very heavy rain from Aniana up towards Sneed, right along Highway 231 up towards Holly Pond. And that heavy rain is going to be moving in behind that leading edge as it moves into East Alabama. But we'll take a check here on the severe thunderstorm that is pushing into East Alabama. Still, I would be mindful that as this particular cell is moving into Clay County, and is pushing east of Talladega County, it's still got some gusty winds on it, just not quite at the parameters where it would be considered a severe wind gust. But still, you're going to hear these winds howling as they come through, and where you notice the pink here, that's some very heavy rain falling, the possibility of some small hail. And I am noticing the farther you go in on this cell, we're not seeing quite as much in the way of lightning as we had earlier, but still some intense lightning on this storm, with the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 2 a.m. for Cleburne County, parts of Cherokee County, and Jacksonville. You're seeing that very heavy rain falling right now, but some frequent lightning on this. This is the one storm that we're seeing in our area that has the most lightning right now. And if you recall, this is the same storm that had moved through the Birmingham metro and has been causing we had checked in with Tristan for that report, has been causing the down trees, the multiple power outages. I actually want to check right now. We mentioned that power outage index. Let me double check here so we can get an idea of what those power outages are. Let me kind of clear the screen. I know it can get a little messy trying to track all of this, but if you're just waking up, maybe you heard a boom of thunder, Or maybe you're waking up to go to the bathroom and realize you couldn't turn the light on because the power was out. This is what I wanted to show you, is the county power outage index. So this is the number of customers without power. You notice in yellow highlighted Jefferson County, about 24,000 customers estimated to be without power. Over in Tuscaloosa County, that same storm that moved through Birmingham originated in Tuscaloosa County and caused some issues there. About 3,500 customers without power. So of course the Birmingham Metro, you got more people to work with, more people going to be impacted. But we're seeing also in Etowah County and into St. Clair County about 1,000 customers without power as well. So we have had no tornado warnings in our area tonight. This is the same system that brought the damaging, deadly tornadoes to the Nashville Metro earlier today. So we couldn't quite tap into the dynamics they had that supported that more serious threat. But that's not to say the severe threat is over for us, but it is gradually waning. And so we are seeing some improvements here. And I would say really probably within the hour, if not within the next 2 hours, I would think maybe within the hour, we're going to be able to sound the all clear here. Just seeing some residual rain west as we go into the morning and getting much colder here within the next few hours as well.
All right, Lauren. And we'll continue to track this as it exits the area. I did note that earlier Calhoun County was included, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far for folks listening in around the Addison area. You can obviously tell the worst of this storm here. It has really lessened up in intensity now as it's made its way through the Jacksonville area. Looks like the wind speeds, of course, and the heavier rains backed off a little bit. Let me see. Where's the leading edge on the wet weather there, Lauren? I just want to go in one more time and just take a look. Yeah, you can see it's right at Jacksonville, and that was a live look. I mean, we got a live view here on radar, so you can see what's happening out there. It certainly doesn't look nearly as intense as what we're seeing earlier when this moved through parts of Jefferson County. And let me switch sources. Speaking of Jefferson County, look at this picture that was just sent in. This was from Homewood. Amy Edgerton sharing this. Thankfully, no injuries reported. Yeah. So, yeah, let me just step aside. You can see there. But we got a lot of reports like this coming in around Birmingham this morning, and a lot of folks, I know, Lauren, you talked about the power outages, but and we felt it here at the station. I mean, we had the winds here on Red Mountain, we had to at least have a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust as that storm moved through earlier. But that's right in the vicinity right there. Homewood, parts of around Hollywood Boulevard, those areas were impacted. So Jacksonville at this time, Lauren's been tracking this. This is the storms and the final push here. We're just going to stay with us. This exits our eastern counties. There's Cherokee County right now, Weiss Lake, places from Center to Piedmont. Our friends here around Frog Mountain, we're likely dealing with some strong winds at this time and some heavy rainfall. The gusty winds are typically right there along the leading edge of this. So once that gust front passes, the rain starts to back off, you get the rumbles, and the weather starts to improve. So it's just a brief 15-20 minutes, those winds really pick up. But once that passes by, to get the gust front that passes on through, the rainfall should just kind of set in there. It's going to be with us for several more hours, but we won't have severe weather. And do we have Tristan right now? What was that, Lauren? Okay. All right. Yeah, I believe we're going back to, we got another live report coming in from Jefferson County. So when we go to that, we'll bring that to you. But let's expand the view, Lauren, and no warnings to the south. That's it. Hopefully, once that expires, we won't see any additional warnings. But even though that little area there has been causing some problems tonight, it doesn't have a warning as it makes its way through Clay County. And even the rain starting to back off now. You can see the back edge of the wet weather now starting to push into parts of Marion County. And one good thing about this is that we finally got some much needed rainfall. Parts of Jefferson County last night, we had these storms move through, some of the heaviest rain in parts of our area that we have likely seen. We haven't seen rain rates like that. You got to go back to August. And that's one of the reasons why we even had the first flood advisory pop up. It's been months since I've seen one of those pop up across the area. So this is certainly going to help us out with respect to the drought. And actually this system, when it comes to rainfall, it overperformed. It overperformed because at one point it looked like we was going to have a little slither of rain and storms move through, and then that's it. But look at Lauren's plotting here, over 2 inches of rainfall. So that is a good thing. 2 inches of rain in areas where we've still haven't gotten much rain despite all the systems over the past several events. You can see over 2 inches of rain northern Walker County, over an inch of rain in parts of Shelby County, Tuscaloosa, back into Hale County there. So nice to see those rain amounts in parts of the area as the system moved through. So at least the positive out of a setup like this, although you never want the severe weather. And I know we got a lot of areas out there. We're certainly thinking about folks this morning, and hopefully we haven't gotten any reports of injuries and everybody's okay as this moves on through. The storms at this time that we're still watching are far eastern Alabama, and we've got a lot of folks listening to us on the radio right now in Calhoun County. We've been simulcasting there on our radio partner stations from Jacksonville and Weaver, WJXI, WOXI, and right now we're getting some strong wind gusts, some heavy rain, and some intense lightning there crossing around Highway 431, and that's moving towards White Plains at this time. The Weather Service still holding on to this severe thunderstorm warning. Was it 2 a.m. the expiration time?
Yes.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll allow this will be allowed to expire, because areas to the south look even more intense, and at this point we've been able to allow some of those warnings to expire as well. But that's been the troublemaker. That one storm, Lauren, even though it did not produce a tornado, started there around Tuscaloosa, moved across Tuscaloosa, moved across Jefferson County, and I can't tell you how many times over the years when you see a storm and it moves into West Alabama, if it moves into parts of Tuscaloosa County, it often ends up moving through Cherokee County or northern Calhoun County. We've seen that many, many times. And look, this shows you just how significant this weather situation's been across Alabama tonight. Look at this. Confirmed tornadoes have been happening in areas to the south. Lauren, tell us a little bit about what you're tracking here down into South Alabama.
Well, Wes, actually down farther south, getting into the Wiregrass and parts of the Chattahoochee Valley, this is getting into east central southeast Alabama. There is a confirmed tornado in Barber County. This is if you ever are driving down to the beach going through Eufaula. This is where we are seeing a confirmed tornado that has been moving through, and it looks like that system is just crossing over Lake Eufaula and will soon be moving over into Georgia. If you're familiar with this area, this is right crossing over Highway 431 and is going to be soon crossing over Highway 82 as well. So if you have any friends or family down in southeast Alabama or southwest Georgia, go ahead, give them the call, be that hero, text them to let them know that this is a dangerous situation, this tornado that is crossing. And this is really the only tornado warning we've got for the state right now, and that is right over Lake Eufaula. So that is south of Columbus, Georgia, and to the south and east of Auburn, right down Highway 431, and it looks like that is just to the south of Highway 82. But as we get back here to our neck of the woods, let me switch the radar source here. Well, it looks, dare I say it, that severe warning has expired for our area. So now in central Alabama, we have no more active severe thunderstorm warnings.
Finally, that one storm has been making its way across the state. I was just seeing, double checking a lot of reports here coming in tonight, Lauren, and we also, I think before we send it back to programming, do we have Tristan ready? Just let me know as soon as that's what. Okay, I know Tristan, was that what was that? No. Okay. All right, so I don't know if we're going to have him ready or not, but what we're going to do, we're going to sign off here. We get ready. We got a newscast coming up at 5 a.m. Meteorologist Fred Hunter's in the house, so we've got the First Alert Weather Team continuing coverage throughout the morning. It's still a First Alert weather day. We're going to hang on to that through until all this rain moves out, because there's going to be some wet weather impacts on the roads this morning, so just be careful out there. South of Tuscaloosa, you can still see some heavier rain that's falling, some heavier rain that's happening, but if you're watching me right now, listening to me on the radio, radio in the Anniston, Oxford, Jacksonville areas. That severe thunderstorm warning has ended. As Lauren noted, that warning has ended. Cherokee County as well, no severe thunderstorm warning. The most intense part of this is now exiting our area, pushing into Cleburne, Randolph counties, and it will be exiting off to the east. So it's just rain and rumbles from here, and we certainly need the rainfall. Certainly wishing everyone a safe rest of the morning, and just be careful out there. As I mentioned, on the roadways, we've got some trees down in some spots. We'll have a full report coming up on the news. Be sure to check in with us on WBRC Fox 6 News. Good Day Alabama Weekend Edition Sunday morning. That's going to be starting at 5 o'clock. And of course, updates on the WBRC First Alert weather app. On behalf of Lauren Linahan, Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, we will now send it back to regular programming.